In his 2 starts as an Astro, Edgar Gonzalez has 2 wins. Tonight he makes his first home start as an Astro and tries to make it 2 in a row over the Phillies. Astros and Phils are next on Fox Sports Houston.
Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's Game 2 of this 4-game series. The Astros take on the Philadelphia Phillies. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies. The Astros mounted a rousing comeback last night. They trailed 4-0. They won it 6-4 to deal the Phillies a setback, JD.
Yeah, nice to put that win in the bank. 3 more games remaining with the Phillies this weekend, and it gets awfully tough tonight with Cole Hamels taking the mound for the Phillies. He's a 14-game winner this year. His career high is 15. He's got a 3.03 ERA. He's been really good on the road. And, boy, Edgar Gonzalez has been nice for the Astros. He has made just 2 starts, but he's won them both, allowed just 1 run in each of those 2 games.
So as the Astros try to go for 2 straight against the Phils, they will go against one of the top lefties in the game. And we'll see how they do behind Edgar Gonzalez in just a moment.
Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. That's outside Minute Maid Park. Inside tonight, a little bit threatening outside. The roof is closed. It will be very, very comfortable as the Astros and the Phillies play Game 2 of this series. Last night, the Phillies were shocked. Certainly their fans were shocked by the Astros coming back from a 4-0 deficit to win the game 6-4 with some late-inning heroics. Well, those heroes are taking the field, at least most of them. There are a few changes in the lineup. But they're all Astros, and they're taking the field. Edgar Gonzalez will be on the mound, and he has been very, very effective. Let's go up to the booth. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays, they got the lineups in the game.
Thank you, Greg, and we'll begin with, as those fans, she's wrapped up in a blanket already. They will look at this Philadelphia Phillies batting order, brought to you by Hyundai. Jimmy Rollins, shortstop. Juan Pierre, left field. Chase Utley, second base. Ryan Howard, first base. Carlos Ruiz, catcher. Dominic Brown, right field. John Mayberry, center field. Kevin Frentzen, third base. Cole Hamels, pitcher.
And right-hander Edgar Gonzalez pitching for the Astros tonight. He's made 2 starts, both of them successful. On Sunday, he beat the Reds with 5 innings of 2-hit, 1-run baseball. He walked a man while striking out 6. Battled a blister on his toe in that game. Hopefully that's not an issue any longer. Defensively, the Astros feature that trifecta in the outfield, and the foursome of Dominguez, Lowry, Altuve, Wallace on the infield. Chris Snyder behind the plate. He and Gonzalez were teammates a few years back with the Diamondbacks.
Well, the Phillies bolted out to a nice lead last night. It was 4-0 in the middle of the 4th inning. The Astros started rallying back. They got 3 in the 4th. They got 3 in the 8th, and they took it 6-4. So that dropped the Phillies to 4 games behind in the wild card pursuit. They're in 6th place in the wild card hunt right now. But they've still won 15 of their last 20. And talking with Charlie Manuel around the cage tonight, he said, well, we can do it. We just have to really keep playing well. Can't afford a whole lot of mistakes from this point on.
They got a couple of clubs they have to jump over. It seems like they probably should be able to get by Pittsburgh because they just can't get out of their own way. They lost again today. The Pirates now have lost 7 in a row as they spiral towards sub 500 yet again. And the Dodgers and Cardinals still ahead of the Phillies, and they're playing tonight a second game of a 4-game series in LA.
Jimmy Rollins gets this one started with a .248 average. He's hit 19 homers, driven in 60 runs. And Rollins hit a big home run a couple of days ago to win that game for the Phillies. There is strike 1 to him. He scored 86 runs. That's tied for 7th in the National League. Switch hitter with speed who can ignite from the top of the order. That one spins him around. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count for Edgar Gonzalez. Astros picked him up after he was pitching in Mexico. He had been released earlier this season, having been a part of the Colorado organization. And of course, as JD mentioned, he was with Arizona when he first came up. He and Chris Snyder teamed there. It's 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, what we've seen, it's just been 2 starts, so a very small sample, but for the most part, he's had good command of his fastball. He can get it to move both ways, a little runner away from a lefty or a cutter in. Done a nice job keeping the ball down around the knees. Not going to light up the radar gun. That one clocked at 87. Has a slider, a cutter, a curveball, and a changeup.
Missed with that last close one, and it's 3-1 to Rollins. Rollins hits it deep to right field. Downs back. That's a leadoff homer by Jimmy Rollins, and a 1-0 Phillies advantage with his 20th long ball of the year. That's 61 runs batted in for Rollins. And he is scoring for the 87th time to give the Phillies the early lead.
Phillies have never had a shortstop lead them in home runs. And obviously with the injuries to Utley and Howard, that door opened up a little bit more so this year than it would have been in previous seasons. But Rollins had some down moments this year for sure. But when they've needed him most these last couple of weeks, he's really stepped up.
Now it's Juan Pierre following. Second career leadoff homer for Rollins. Made it 1-0. Juan Pierre at 309 has 1 homer. He's driven in 23. Taking ball 1 there. C.B. Buckner is the home plate umpire.
Situation there where Gonzalez was basically at the mercy of the count. He's 3 balls, 1 strike on Rollins. He's a speedy guy. You don't want to walk him and worry about stolen bases. So you have to challenge, and he got beat.
Inside to Juan Pierre. Now he's behind him 3-0. Pierre had 2 hits and a walk in last night's game.
Pierre with 1 home run this year, less than 20 home runs in his major league career, so he's not a power guy. This is not a case of Edgar being too careful, it's just Edgar missing.
Strike makes it 3-1 to Pierre with Chase Utley on deck. Phillies well remember the Astros, knocking them off in the 0-4 wild card race. They swept the Phillies in a couple series that year. Pierre draws a walk, and the Phillies are trying to make that kind of a late burst themselves to get back to the playoffs. It would be the 6th consecutive year if they make it. Chase Utley follows.
They got the fandom back in Philadelphia worked up in the season where they were starting to focus on the Eagles. All of a sudden people are interested in Phillies baseball again.
Utley at .254 with 10 homers, has 30 runs batted in. He had a single and a walk in last night's game. Utley didn't come off the DL until June 27th. Pierre draws some attention there, and well, he should, based on his stolen base prowess. He has 34 steals in 40 attempts. Gonzalez throws over. Edgar has been moved up a day from the scheduled start because of Bud Norris's blister problems on the middle finger of Bud's right hand. He's being skipped this time through the rotation. But Edgar still has the normal 5 days rest because the Astros have been working with a 6-man rotation. His last start was Sunday. Runner going. Snyder's throw is a 1-hop throw and safe at second. It was right on target to Jed Lowry, but Pierre is called safe by Dale Scott.
Chris taking a long look out at second base, thought he'd gotten his man. Good sharp 1-hop throw to Lowry, who applies the tag, and it looks like they got him. It's difficult when you break it down in slow motion to know exactly when that tag is being applied, but that first look we had it looked like he got him around the elbow right before he got to the bag. Awfully close. Tough call. It looked like he started to ring him up, didn't it?
Yep.
In Dale's body language, it looked like he was starting to ring him up.
Now a line drive into left center field. The infield was shifted, playing him to pull, and it's 2-0 Phillies on a sharp single by Utley after the stolen base by Pierre. 31st run batted in for Chase Utley.
And lest we forget, the Philadelphia Phillies have Cole Hamels going tonight. They cannot afford to fall too far behind Hamels. This is a 2-seam fastball. Didn't have any sink. It just had a little run to the outside part of the plate. It was up a little bit, and Utley just stayed on it, banged it into the alley, and an early visit from Doug Brocail. We should have put a pedometer on Broke this year.
Oh boy!
See how many miles in mound visits he's logged.
He would have been rolling it back. It would have lapped what a lot of pitching coaches have done this year. Now it's Ryan Howard. Howard has 10 homers, 41 runs batted in. There's strike one to him. He had a single and a sac fly in last night's game.
Big fella sitting dead red right there, way out in front of the changeup.
Howard's season also started late, as did Chase Utley's, because of his Achilles tendon injury from the playoffs last year. Rolls over on that one, fouls it. No balls, 2 strikes to Ryan Howard.
Howard, tremendously strong guy. When he first came into the league, he was a guy who would hit a lot of home runs out towards left center. Seems to me like he's gotten a little more pull conscious over the last couple of seasons. I don't see him play a whole lot.
Pitches away, and it's 1-2 to Ryan. Howard, since August 6th, has driven in 31 runs in 34 games. That's third in the National League in that period of time, behind Chase Headley and Alfonso Soriano. Altuve is certainly playing him to pull. Runner going. Snyder will not make a throw on Chase Utley, who steals it. At 7 steals for Utley in 8 tries this year. Counts 2-2.
He's a guy who don't anticipate doing a whole lot of running because of the leg problems he's had, the knee injuries, both knees. He's had hip problems. He's feeling pretty spry.
Must be.
Obviously.
2-2 pitch is ball 3, and now it's a full count to Howard. Howard's been very good at working the count again this year. Leads the Phillies in pitches per plate appearance. Well, this Phillies offense can be monstrous at times if everybody's healthy and clicking. Altuve's out in right field now.
Double play in order, so he peels back to the rover position.
Foul back.
Threw Howard out last night from right field.
Certainly did. That was fun to watch. Gonzalez has 16 major league wins to go with 25 losses and a 5.77 ERA. They've got right field covered. Foul back. And the challenge with moving a second baseman out that far is to make sure he has the arm to get it there. If he has to go to his right, that's a very unusual throw for a second baseman, not used to being out in right center field and trying to throw out somebody on the run.
Yeah, it's interesting how far he's playing on the pull side with as deep as he is, and of course Lowry's on the right side of the bag as well.
Does make it tougher though for Utley to score on a single that way. High to right field. This is a line drive that loops. It's got some topspin on it. It bounces out of play for a double. Utley will score, and it's 3-0 Phillies. Howard picks up his 10th double, and it's RBI number 42 for him.
Can we get a mulligan, please?
Boy.
Can we get a restart?
4 have reached. 3 have scored in the Phillies' first inning with nobody out.
Here comes their best hitter. Flashback Friday here at Minute Maid Park, and Howard and Utley doing a little flashback as well. 2 good swings of the bat, good at bats for all 4 of the Philly hitters so far. Home run, walk, single, double. They're a Chooch Ruiz triple away from the cycle.
Oh boy,
that ain't gonna happen. He's got a bad foot.
He's hitting .342. Strike 2 Ruiz. He has 14 homers, 60 runs batted in, an OPS of better than .970. Terrific year for Carlos Ruiz, who got a pinch infield hit in last night's game in the 8th inning. This one goes to right field. Matt Downs over. Howard tagging. Downs will unload, and Howard will stay at second. That's 1 out. Bringing up Dominic Brown. Phillies are 9th in runs scored in the National League. And so with the injuries and other problems, they have not really hit their stride offensively. Tonight they're looking like world beaters. Brown at .242 with 2 homers has 16 runs batted in, absorbing a lot of the playing time in right field after the trade of Hunter Pence to the Giants. Dominic has been one of the top prospects for the last few years in the Phillies chain. There's ball 1. So they traded not only Pence, the right fielder, but also the center fielder, Shane Victorino, in an unusual trading spree. After holding on to those guys for a long time, and the Phillies took a slide as a team. Ruben Amaro made those deals. Ground ball to second. Altuve there, and he flips over to Wallace. 2 outs. Howard to third. And talking to some of the Phillies broadcasters and talking about Hunter Pence and the difficulty he had in the outfield in Philadelphia, and at times playing in the big market under the scrutiny of a lot of media folks, having some subpar offensive games. They just did not feel that he was going to be reaching that top level as an outfielder there, so they parted company with him. 255 for John Mayberry, 14 homers. He's driven in 43.
Hunter did a real nice job when he joined the Phillies last year. Really helped to energize them. But he's never been that guy.
Right.
He was the guy here because the Astros just were kind of undermanned. Just a good, solid player.
And I think it sounds as if what it came down to for the Phillies was what it came down to for the Astros in terms of what his earning power will be and what he produces.
Yeah, and obviously the Philly market right now, one of the hottest in all of baseball. They've been drawing huge crowds for years now. Their TV ratings are sky high. They're doing really well, but even with that, you still have to manage your resources, and they've got so much money tied up in these starting pitchers. They decided to move on from Hunter and Victorino, guys who would have been making a lot of money next year had they hung on to them.
Mm-hmm. Now they do have a hefty payroll, especially after signing Hamels. It's 1-2 with Chucky Fick warming up in the Astros bullpen. Gonzalez has gone 5 and 5 1/3 in his first 2 starts for the Astros. There's Chucky Fick. He's been very competitive. He's moved the ball around.
Far left there on the screen, Mickey Story, who got whacked in the face by a comebacker the other day. Good to see him back out there looking ready to go.
Tough guy. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 28 pitches so far for Edgar Gonzalez. He's been doing a lot of extra running outside in the heat, trying to manage his weight, just get into better shape here after joining the Astros not too long ago. He had some periods of inactivity this season. 3 balls, 2 strikes now to Mayberry.
Never mind that running in the heat. You should be drinking milkshakes, getting strong. Running in the heat's just going to wear you out, man.
You can attest to that. You used to run outside in your dome days, didn't you?
You can lose weight in the off season. I did a little bit.
3-2 pitch is foul back by Mayberry with Franson on deck. Phillies swept a 2-game series in Philadelphia from the Astros in mid-May. It's not as if their record in their division would stamp them as a contender for postseason play. They're 25 and 32 against the clubs in the NL East. They're 5 and 10 against Atlanta, 5 and 10 against the Mets. Rolled up the middle and trickling into center field for an RBI single and a 4-0 Phillies lead. Mayberry drives in his 44th. Big first inning for the Phils, and Kevin Franson wants to continue it.
Like Edgar maybe stumbled a little bit on that delivery, left it up, and that's what he had not been doing in his previous 2 starts. He was doing a real nice job keeping his pitches down. If he was up, it was up and in off the plate for effect, but he threw very few balls over the plate up around the belt.
Franson's the batter. Bouncer to third. Matt Dominguez throwing to second. Oh, Altuve is able to get his foot down on the base in time, just ahead of Mayberry's arrival. And it's a 4-run Philadelphia first on 4 hits with a man left. Phillies 4, Astros coming up. Lineup for Tony DeFrancesco's team, which is 6-6 in the month of September. Jose Altuve at second base, Brandon Barnes in center field, Brett Wallace first base, Justin Maxwell left field, Jed Lowry shortstop, Matt Dominguez third base, Matt Downs right field, Chris Snyder catcher, Edgar Gonzalez pitcher.
And a stylish lefty Cole Hamels for the Phillies tonight. 14-game winner against 6 losses, a 3.03 ERA on the road. He's been quite good, 8-3 with a 3.19. He's been good, period. Good at home, good on the road, tough on lefties, tough on righties. Any way you break him down, he's one of the best.
Altuve had 2 hits last night. It's a 1-1 count to Jose, checking in at 290 with 5 homers, 33 runs batted in. He also stole a base last night to give him 30 steals for the year. He scored 73 runs. He's had a few days off because of the injury, and Tony DeFrancesco has noticed a revitalized Jose Altuve. He was asked about that during his media session tonight. He said we might rest him a little bit more between now and the end of the year because he does seem to be responding with a little rest. And he gets a hit through the left side. Leadoff single for Altuve.
Position players are loath to admit it, but I think to a man they benefit from rest. That would be one of the projects I'd be putting SIG on. How do players respond to rest? What kind of production do you get out of a player if you rest them X number of days and things of that nature? It just, I don't know. I could be dead wrong. The numbers may bear out otherwise, but just anecdotally, what you see.
Don't believe you are wrong.
Shut a guy down for a day or two, he seems to come back a little fresher, a little stronger.
Absolutely. Bunt is fouled by Brandon Barnes. Barnes came off the bench last night and had 2 hits and an RBI.
It's physical, but it's also mental. Just a chance to clear the head a little bit.
It's a big part of it.
And about 90%, well, check that. Every player I've ever talked to, except for one, has said, yeah, I don't mind a day off when I'm really scuffling. Lance Berkman was the exception. Lance said, I'd rather have a day off when I'm coming off a really good day. That way I don't have to sit there in the dugout and stew about my recent offer.
Okay. Makes some sense. Barnes takes a swing at it. It's no balls, 2 strikes to Brandon, who delivered a pair of hits last night, drove in a run, stole a base, all off the bench. The Astros used 21 players in their 6-4 win last night, including pitcher Jordan Lyles as a pinch runner, and he scored the go-ahead run in that 3-run 8th.
September baseball has just gotten miserable, to tell you the truth. There's too many players and too many options for the managers to make moves, and the game just grinds to a halt.
I was asking Tony D about using Lyles as a pinch runner. He had 4 other players available on his bench, and I said, was it because all of them on the bench were not particularly fast players? He said, well, I was getting concerned about using so many players. I thought if we go to extra innings, I need a few guys. Struck him out. And Lyles is a fine athlete.
Oh, yeah.
He showed that. 1 out for Hamels.
Change up. He's got a dandy. And there's only 2 or 3 guys in baseball that throw it more frequently than Cole Hamels. That's his go-to pitch. It's a fastball, cutter, curveball, changeup arsenal that he brings to the mound with him.
Brett Wallace is next. He's trying to snap an 0 for 14 right now. His average down to 264 with 7 homers, 17 driven in. Strike to Wallace. Left-handed hitters are hitting 231 against Hamels. Right-handers 236.
Cole first came to the big leagues in 2006. He's only 28 years of age. 88 lifetime wins against 60 losses.
3-time All-Star, including this year. Line shot off the glove of Rollins into center field. A well-hit ball by Wallace. Hit number 2 of the inning for the Astros. That snaps an 0 for 14 with authority.
Well, hanging in there pretty well against southpaws. And Hamels, he's got a good curveball, but he doesn't have that just eat you up breaking ball that you would be hesitant to put any left-handed batters in the lineup against him. He's one of those guys it's a good idea to have a left-handed bat or two in there just to change the look up for him. He gets into that rhythm with fastball, cutter, changeup to the right-handed hitters. Throwing a lefty or two in there can upset the apple cart a little bit.
Justin Maxwell with 14 homers has driven in 43. He was 1 for 4 in last night's game. Fouls it back for strike one.
Well, let's take a look at the Phillies here defensively. Pierre Mayberry and Brown, a very talented, speedy outfield. Not much of an arm there. And Pierre, the Astros will be looking to take advantage of him. Rollins has got a handful of gold gloves sitting at home. Utley and Howard, they've been there a good long while now. And the Phillies really like the play they're getting from Kevin Franzen over at third as well.
Maxwell's on a career high 7-game hitting streak. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Justin. During September, his numbers have been glittering. 351 on base percentage, 531 slugging percentage for an OPS of 883. Hamels will throw to Rollins for one. Rollins not in time, throws it by Howard at first base. The ball goes out of play. Altuve scores, and it's 4-1 with Maxwell headed for second. 2 outs.
A gift run there. The Phillies failed to convert the double play. Pretty good feed from Hamels to Rollins, but he takes a couple extra steps before unloading to first base. And Ryan Howard is just not a very good first baseman. He doesn't have great hands. He's not particularly mobile. So he wasn't able to bail out Rollins, who will draw the error here.
Yeah, his footwork was off on that throw. Jed Lowry's the batter. That's not. The Phillies turned him around to bat right-handed as a pinch hitter, and he burned them. The 2-run pinch double. 253, 14 homers, 38 runs batted in for Jed. The left side had been the better side for him this year, not in the past. He's now hitting 203 right-handed. Fly ball to center field rather. Mayberry loping in to take care of the final out. It's 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, 1 left after 1. 4-1 Phillies. Four to 1 Phillies. Jeff Kent joining us here in the booth on Flashback Friday. He was out on the mound with his son Caden throwing out the first pitch. J.K., good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And as always, you're playing hurt tonight. You've got broken ribs, so you can't throw out the first pitch.
Well, that's why my boy picked me up. You know, I played with teammates for years and years, and I needed my teammate to help me out. He threw a good pitch out there.
Well, it's been a few years, and you had 2 tremendous years for the Astros in 03 and 04. 49 homers, 200 runs batted in those 2 years. And, of course, that memorable playoff homer
It went by too quick.
Didn't it, though?
It did. And, I was asked about that on the field before the game started today, and asked about my experience, and there's not a whole lot there because it went so fast.
Well, you certainly performed well. Those were interesting and entertaining teams. You're a gamer.
Well, I appreciate that.
Now, how does it feel? Now, not to have that competition here, but you can still race, right? And you can get competition that way.
I grew up racing motorcycles my whole life in Southern California, and I snuck a race in every now and then in the off season, but I took it easy. And now that I'm retired, I'm going a little too fast for myself sometimes, and ended up going over the handlebars and busted a couple of ribs and punctured a lung just a couple of weeks ago.
Man.
So I'm all banged up.
Oh, you are.
I could barely raise my right hand right there. It hurts so bad. He's a good kid. There's Caden. He threw a strike, too.
Yeah,
Fired
he did.
that gold ball in there.
Yeah, he got a little something on it.
Now, you were saying on the field, Jeff, that you're doing something you thought you'd never do. You're coaching now.
I am. I swore when I was a big leaguer that I would never coach Little League Baseball. Get into the politics of the game.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Deal with the parents, try to coach kids like myself. I never wanted to coach kids like me, but you sit at home and you watch your kids grow up and you go, there's no way that I can't utilize the gifts and the knowledge that I have in this game, just let it sit there.
Right.
I went to spring training with the Giants a couple times. Do things every now and then, but I had to do something. So I'm coaching 15-year-old kids, preparing them for high school tryouts in baseball out in Bee Caves in Austin, Texas.
Wow.
Now, do you foresee back in the big league dugout at any time?
I don't know. My wife has sacrificed so much. My kids have too. When I play the game, and they're enjoying themselves down there in the front row. Got the best seats in the house, but it's going to take a big time blessing if I get out of the game and go coaching.
Yeah, it's a major commitment, isn't it? After this family time, and you see how special that is after missing it all those years.
Well, I call it a game because it's a game at home now. I play a game and wake up at 6:30 in the morning and help the wife, make sandwiches and drive the kids to school and make sure they got all their homework. And I'm doing calculus at 11 o'clock at night with my daughter now. So, getting out of the game of the house and having to come here and coach this is fun stuff out on the baseball
field. This would be gravy compared to that.
It ain't fun at the house, but I have a good time with it.
That is work. Juan Pierre hustled his way into a run with a walk and a steal. Very interesting player to watch, and a guy you probably are going to coach some guys with some speed, and it's a matter of working with them on making contact, making sure they can reach base. Jeff.
Well, this Philly team is underachieved absolutely this year. They've got some good players. I played with Juan Pierre, a good contact hitter. And, I've watched the Astros kind of, filter away some of their great players. They've had some great years. The year after I left here, went to the World Series. And let me tell you, I'm some kind of mad when I was at home watching the Astros go to the World Series when I was playing with the Dodgers. But the Astros got themselves in a good position, too. I think they're circling their wagons. They're getting themselves ready for something bigger and better. It's going to start with them switching leagues. And, hopefully they can start to add and acquire talent like some of these Phillies players.
Right.
As well as some of the young kids out there that they've got in that Astros dugout, too.
Ground ball goes foul. And take your career now, for instance. When you came to the big leagues, did you feel that you had a really solid base of instruction and you were really well schooled in everything you needed when you arrived in the big leagues?
I had come up early from Double-A with the Toronto Blue Jays to the New York Mets. Played there for 4.5 years, and through Cleveland Indians was traded to San Francisco, and that's where. And I got together with Dusty Baker, and that's where everything started to come together for me. Dusty was the manager. We had hitting coaches, but Dusty was an awesome hitting coach.
And was it a case of just writing your name in the lineup every day and saying go play? Because of some of those previous seasons, you're in on a lineup a little bit and never had a real chance to
try to find my way. Yeah, and then finally I had a good team and a good coach that's said, son, you're going to play every day, so you better come prepared, be ready to play every day, and we're going to throw you out there. Things started to come around in San Francisco. Played on a great team, and then came here with Houston and played on another great team in Houston. And when you have a bunch of good players around you, things, and if you're a good player too, things really start to come together. And I was, right man, right spot in San Francisco when things started to turn around for me.
Yeah. That was a lineup with you and Bonds, and you guys could put some thunder on that scoreboard in a hurry.
Well, we were a hitting team, and I love offense. I took pride in playing defense. I wasn't, a big speedy guy out there. And, I'm 210, 215 pounds playing second base, but I could hit. And, the old slogan, if you can hit, they'll find you a place to play. Well, second base happened to be a place that I could turn a double play. I thought with Jose Vizcaino, who was here too, who was my teammate in San Francisco. We were the best double play combination in the league for years, and turning a double play was my favorite thing to do. But, I took pride in defense, but hitting was my thing. That's where I made my money.
But talking about playing second base now, because you are larger than the usual average second baseman, positioning is really important, isn't it, for a guy like you?
And it had to be, because I couldn't, I had a good first step. But after that, it took me a little while to get where I was going. So you had to play smart. And, and that, I think that's taken for granted with people in the stands and scouts is, you don't really watch a player move one step over, one step this way because of a breaking ball or change it just like that.
Exactly. Pierre strikes out. We'll be right back with Jeff Kent, 4-1 Phillies. For Matt Dominguez, who leads it off here. Let's see if he can do what you did so many times. There's strike one, but he's been doing it recently. He's hit 3 3-run homers, Jeff, in the last week.
And all 4 of his home runs have come in the last 2 weeks.
Let me tell you, I was down there on the field and watched some of these boys hit, and even the Astros second baseman out there. These guys are big kids.
Yeah. This kid's a big kid.
It's going to be interesting to see what he develops into. That's what you were talking about, bringing a guy to the big leagues, giving him a chance to play, and a lot of these guys are really getting the first chance. Now a little roller out to second, and he's got a rare infield hit.
That's one of those shoulder flies out, hip flies out, head flies out, hit it cue ball right off the end of the bat, and that ball is spinning something fierce, and you just try to run it out to first base. Got everybody fooled.
Yeah, Hamels actually overplayed it a little bit.
You can even see the ball on the grass spinning the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right off the end.
Got to be frustrating for Cole Hamels.
Oh, let me tell you how happy that boy is to get a hit, though.
It works the other way, yeah. Now Matt Downs comes up. We have your home run from the playoffs against Jason Isringhausen. Boy, that was such a tough one to take after you hit the home run. And there's a pop up to third base. Franson making the catch, and things were looking so good after you hit this home run going to St. Louis, weren't they, Jeff?
Let me tell you, I was so happy. When I was pointing in the dugout, I knew we were going to St. Louis. All we had to do was win one, and holy cow. Look at those fans out there. They were awesome. They were so great, and I wanted this for them. Look, those guys at home plate. What a big moment. That was one of the biggest moments of my career was right there. Take away the World Series games I played in, that was it right there.
That'll be so much fun.
That's what I came to Houston for right there.
make that trip. You know, the other time I saw you really animated here was when they introduced you and you were coming across the top of that dugout for the All-Star game. Remember that?
Yeah. You know, that was something special. You know, being on the All-Star team, playing for your home crowd. I might have had a tear in my eye or two, and that was something special. I appreciated that. The 2 years that I was here too, you know, the fans hollering at me. You know, there's a guy behind the visiting dugout calling me cowboy all the time. I thought he was awesome. I had a dude out there in right field hollering at me every day too. And these people out here, they come to watch the games. They knew who I was, knew where I lived, and appreciated the play that I gave. And let me tell you, you know, thinking about it too, now, you know, it brings a soft heart.
I can't let you go without asking you about the Survivor. I know you can't tell us whether you won or not, but what can you share? I mean, was it fun? Was it misery?
I did not bust my ribs on Survivor. I can assure you that. It was not fun, not exciting. It was a challenge.
Long time, right? You were there a long time.
Let me tell you, it was real, and that was the only reason why I did. Look at that big white guy standing on the far corner, sucking in the gut too. Can you believe it?
Yeah,
mixing it. Texas, this was post-winter time Texas too, so we were going into the spring, and here I am, the ugliest, whitest looking guy out there, and I was kind of embarrassed. It was real. It was kind of fun, and it was a challenge. And people have asked me, will I do it again? Oh, jeez. They better sweeten the pot if I want to do that thing again. Let me tell you.
Yeah, how did it come to be? Did somebody come to you and say, hey, we think you'd be a good candidate for this? Or
it was both ways, swung both ways. I was a fan of the show from the get-go, 12 years ago, and just, loved the premise of the show, loved the fact that it was real and outdoors, and had an opportunity to be cast for the show. I produced interview footage. It was a Survivor video I had to put together. Went through the interview processes in L.A. thinking they'd kick me to the curb, and things kept coming along, and they invited me out. So I was that was a big challenge in my life to say, okay, honey, I'm going to leave and go hang out with a bunch of half-naked 20-year-olds on an island somewhere.
You good with that? Yeah.
How'd that go over?
No, not well. She hasn't seen the show yet, so
okay.
I might not be watching the episodes with her.
So when does this show start airing, Jeff?
Next week, the 19th is the first episode.
Gonzalez bunts. Let's see. It's fair.
Nice. He touched it, too.
Oh, yeah. He did. And the bases are loaded. Hamill's looking over, and the home plate umpire said, yes, you touched it. That's C.B. Buckner.
Sometimes those lefties don't think very well.
No. How about this inning? The swinging base hit, the little swinging bunt by Dominguez.
Yeah, you touched it.
The
right
walk,
there.
and then that.
Nice. I like this. They need to get some of these runs back. Yeah, I think it popped up and hit him in the thumb. Looked like it.
But at that point,
maybe not. You need that slow motion, that $1 million camera to tell you.
Yes.
At that point, just step away. Just step away. You got no play. Looks like they've. If we were watching the replay,
he did.
I'm guessing they overruled it. Yeah.
We were chatterboxing watching the replays there. You must have.
Tony D gets the word that was a foul ball.
And Buckner, he was a little tight with the strike zone on watching that first inning too. Gonzalez was trying to work that outer half on his changeups and just wasn't getting it. And the home umpire, that's the home plate umpire's call, and he called that ball fair.
Sure did.
Ouch.
Yeah. So the whole Survivor experience, is it something that you had visualized working out about the way it did, or were you surprised by it?
I wasn't surprised by it.
Okay.
I did my homework, knowing what I was getting myself into. I was a little scared though, not knowing how they can cut all the episodes and all they stick a camera in your face for 24 hours a day. So they can cut it up any way they want to. But I had faith in talking to Jeff Probst and the casting crew, the people that were there that produced the show. I had all faith that they would create a true reality show. So I'm proud of the way the game went. I'm happy that I did it, and Hopefully it won't be how people remember me, though.
Weren't you the guy on Survivor? Well, that's MVP.
Oh, yeah, you played baseball.
I've before Survivor, I've been known to the car washing thing and the the fight with Bonds in the dugout thing. And now it's the Survivor thing. So maybe that's why I did it. Now people won't remember me for all that other crap.
Well, that's a strikeout, so it really turned based on that call. Instead of bases loaded and 1 out, it's first and second, 2 outs for Tony D's club.
So do you get to preview the episodes, or it's when it comes on, that's your first real look at it?
That's it. Your wife, has got a bunch of friends. They want to have a little party at the house while we watch. And I'm thinking, honey, no, because you and I might get into this.
No, this is good. You want them there. You want that buffer.
Okay.
You want that buffer.
I had to bring one of my buddies, so they might need to take me home. Okay. Yeah, then I might do this. Then I'll think about this again.
Altuve rolls over on 1, strike 1. You have not been a numbers guy. 377 homers, 1,518 runs batted in. We don't get a Hall of Fame vote, but everybody knows what it would be if we did. Do you think about that at all?
I don't. I get asked it a lot, to try to get in that debate, and I don't. Baseball is a game that I love with a passion. I cried when I had to quit, and I played it till I was 40 years old and loved every minute of it. And now, my life won't be complete, with or without the Hall of Fame thing. So, I really stay away from it. I try to respect the vote and, let people argue, whether or not I deserve to be there. But, one way or the other, it won't change my life.
Okay. But are you secure in the fact that you gave it absolutely everything you had?
And that's what I'm proud of. The integrity that I played this game with. I played it with passion. Sometimes I got over my head a little bit, hot head. But I competed. I did not like the other team that I was playing against. That's just the way it was, and I needed that edge. And I played on the edge all the time. And I'm lighter now. I don't have my game face on. Didn't like the media much because I stayed quiet. I was pretty much of a quiet guy.
Hey, you're blowing us away up here tonight. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
So
that's wonderful.
Nothing's changed for me, but when I played, I competed, and that's all I cared about. I got paid a lot of money and had the expectations from the fans to play well, and loved every minute of it. I don't look back and wish I would have done things different. I played it well, and grateful that. Played through the steroid era too, and with that cloud over all the ball players that played. I'm grateful and I'm not on my soapbox at all, but I know how I played this game, and I'm proud of it.
As you look back, and based on what you saw from your teammates, what percentage of guys do you think used steroids during the time that you played? Any idea?
I have no idea. Steroids were a problem in the game, absolutely. And I'm grateful that Major League Baseball, even in the time when I was there, made an effort with the association to clean this game up. And they're still having to do that right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. 2-2 to Altuve. He fouls it. Well, if you were voting, not knowing who was using and who wasn't, you just vote on numbers. You just assume everybody's on a level playing ground. That's difficult to vote on that, isn't it? If you're a Hall of Fame voter.
It is. It is. And I've asked that question too. And, baseball has prided itself in that the Hall of Fame is above and better and beyond than any other Hall of Fame club in any other sport.
Shot to center field. Stop sign at third on the Altuve single. Whoa, what a throw from Mayberry, and the bases are loaded.
With that being said, I hope all the voters, take in consideration the integrity of the game as well. I think there's more to it than just numbers, and that is going to be a very, very difficult vote for a lot of players, or a lot of media now for players.
And it has to just chap you that you didn't use, and you were competing against guys who did.
Yes, absolutely. And it was a frustrating time for a lot of players that didn't use, against players that used. And it's so we don't know. We don't know how many players were out there. We can speculate and throw numbers out there, but I think that's unfair too. The game needed to be cleaned up, and it's gone that route to clean it up.
Right to Barnes. Well, as we look back at that scene of you hitting that home run, boy, it brought back just a flood of memories of those full houses and those great games. And those will probably be with you for a while, won't they? Those memories.
They will. And I know you guys had them the year after I left too. And the greatest moments in Astros history with that World Series in 2005. It'll come again. It'll come again. I think it'll come again for this organization. Grateful that you've got new owners here. Some new blood coming in, and new league and new opportunities. It smells of something great coming along.
True. Fly ball out to left center field. Mayberry over now for the catch. Jeff Kent, great visit. Thank you so much for coming back, and that was terrific to talk with you.
You guys are great. Thank you.
Last chance to let us know whether you won or not.
I listen to you guys all the time. I'll talk to you when it's over.
Okay. Thank you. Jeff Kent.
Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Guys, kudos for your conversation with Jeff Kent. I was counting the words, and that was more than in 2 years that he played for the Astros. No, he was very, very, very good conversation, fellas. Good job.
Well, Jeff made it so easy for us, and we want to thank him again, Greg, but I know we're all somewhat surprised. But I think in retrospect now, after hearing Jeff Kent tonight, he was one of those guys who just had to put on that mask, that game face to play the game, and that did not include a lot of conversation with the media.
I think you got it exactly right. We just didn't quite understand that at the time.
True.
But with J.K., though, there was also not a lot of conversation in the dugout of the clubhouse with his teammates. There were times where guys would get frustrated, but at the end of the day, everybody said he was a great teammate.
True. He played hard. Good to hear from him. 4-1 Phillies. Each club has 4 hits. Chase Utley has one of those, and that drove in a run. And strike one. He's the kind of guy you would want coaching your son, right? He's going to give it everything he has, and be extremely devoted to that cause. And pass along all the knowledge he has picked up down through the years. Strike makes it 0-2. He told us during the break, in addition to the broken ribs he has right now, Greg, last year he tore an ACL in his left knee, so he's had almost more injuries since he retired than he did when he was playing.
Yeah, he was very durable when he was playing, other than that one little incident in San Francisco.
Yeah. No balls, 2 strikes to Utley. Jeff's living over in Central Texas now, has for many years. That's a foul ball. Still 0-2 with Howard and Ruiz to follow against Gonzalez, who gets a chance to continue what he started in the second inning with a 1-2-3 frame after giving up 4 in the first. And the Astros have put some traffic on with Hamels pitching, so there's some encouragement from what they did in the second inning, even though they did not score. That bunt call proved to be big. That's a slicing drive, and Maxwell's on the run to grab it.
Yeah, it did prove to be big, but it also looked like it was accurate. It looked like CD got it right.
It did. Maxwell runs it down. He's playing a lot of center field, but tonight it's Barnes in center. Maxwell is a rangy left fielder. Center fielder speed there. Howard with the RBI double to right is up for the second time now. Larry Boa came to Houston today for a chat with Astros general manager Jeff Luhnow. They're not characterizing that as an interview for the manager's spot, but they were chatting. Infield overshifted here on Howard. Exchanging some ideas.
Interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Bo Porter was interviewed. Apparently earlier in the week, Dave Martinez was interviewed.
Yes.
The bench coach of the Tampa Bay Rays.
And Tony DeFrancesco has had a 3-hour interview himself this week. So things are turning quickly in the manager's search. And a couple of points on that. One is that, for instance, Dave Martinez, as you mentioned, the bench coach for Tampa Bay, might be involved in the playoffs. Some of the other guys. Well, Bo Porter certainly looking like he'll be coaching third base in the playoffs for the Washington Nationals. There may be some others on the list who are playoff bound, and the Astros wanted to get this advanced chat prior to the playoff experience when they would not be able to talk to these candidates. And they also may be trying to beat some other teams to the punch as far as hiring a manager. Slicing line drive, left field line goes foul. 0-2. Don't know which other clubs might be looking for skippers this offseason, JD.
Well, there's an assumption that the Boston Red Sox will be in the market for a manager. I'm wondering about Clint Hurdle's job. If the way the Pirates collapsed last year, and whether it's fair or not, you could see them reacting to the way things have gone south this year.
True.
I mean, it's interesting because Clint Hurdle, I think in a lot of people's minds, should be in the conversation for manager of the year. At the same time, the Pirates might be pointing the finger at him and saying, what's going on, man? You're in position. We made deals for you, and it all fell apart.
Some think that maybe the Marlins might be looking again. The way things have gone for that club under Ozzie Guillen. 1-2. So it's hard to know right now, but nonetheless, the Astros are getting a head start here in September on these conversations.
Bobby V is not going out without a fight.
What's going on now?
His quote: "This is the weakest," referring to the Red Sox, "this is the weakest roster we've ever had in September in the history of baseball."
Whoa.
It could use help everywhere. I love it.
I think he just was trying to take himself off the hook. Fly ball to left. Maxwell over toward the line. 2 outs.
Talked last time about Howard and his inclination to pull the ball, but there he clearly had an off-field approach throughout that at bat, as did Utley. I think these guys saw those Crawford boxes and said, well, you just put a little three-quarter swing on one, get it airborne, got a chance to pick up a cheap home run.
Carlos Ruiz hit a fly ball to right in the first inning. Phillies feel very well stocked at catcher now, with Eric Kratz doing so well in the absence of Ruiz. Kratz has hit 9 homers and 125 at bats. He's driven in 25 runs. Ruiz takes, and it's ball 1. Tony DeFrancesco said that he thinks things for the Houston manager will become even more on the analytical side in terms of game preparation in the future than they are right now. He says, well, right now, maybe once a homestand, I'll meet with the entire analytical staff and then meet with a representative occasionally, more often than that, to go over numbers. He said, I've got every kind of statistic you could ever want in that dugout right now. And he came up through the Oakland system, managing in the minor leagues, so he's very much an advocate of on base average, working the count, things of that nature. Top to third. Dominguez with a throw, and the stretch by Wallace gets him. A lot of arm there from Dominguez. He really gunned it, and Wallace was able to stretch out for out number 3, 4-1 Phillies. He has some trivia involving who? Larry Anderson, Gary Matthews. Larry Anderson played for 6 major league teams, including the Astros and Phillies. Name the other 4. Well, we know he was traded from here to the Boston Red Sox for Jeff Bagwell. He played for Seattle, didn't he? Played for San Diego, the famous late night game on Astros TV. And Brett Wallace leads it off in the bottom of the 3rd. He singled his first time up. There is strike 1. Let's see. What's the other one, JD?
We have one left?
I believe so.
He was a Cleveland Indian.
Oh, yes. Wallace lined a hit off Rollins' glove at shortstop. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Larry played a long time in the big leagues.
He sure did. Ground ball to second. Utley is there. On over to Howard. 1 out. AT&T has the answer for us right now. 6 major league teams, including the Astros and Phillies, and the others are Cleveland, Seattle, Boston, and San Diego. Justin Maxwell comes up now. Bounced into a force play, and on that a run scored. Altuve coming home, giving him his 44th run batted in of the year.
LA broke in with Cleveland in 1975 at the age of 22 for just a cup of coffee, and back up with them a little bit in 77, 79. So it was kind of a bumpy ride for him early in his career, but once he mastered that slider, he hung in there for a good long while. Pitched all the way through 1994 at the age of 41.
That was his meal ticket. That slider. 1-ball, 1-strike. He could just live with that pitch.
I thought he was like 50 when he pitched here. I used to ask him how he got DiMaggio out.
Well, you can ask him whatever you want to on Sunday, because he's your guest on Astros Live, Sunday 12:30.
I will ask him that. Ask him how he pitched to DiMaggio.
Slider. So he pitched to everybody. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He was kind of the Mariano Rivera of his day, wasn't he?
Yeah, in that the heavy reliance on one pitch.
Struck him out.
And the Astros had a chance against Hamels in the first and second to put a crooked number on the board. He was able to get out of those jams, and now you just worry that maybe he's finally settled in. It's going to start to rattle off a pretty good stretch of consecutive outs here.
Jed Lowry does not want that stretch to continue. He hit a fly ball to center field in the first inning. We're talking about Jed, among other topics, on Astros Live tonight. There's ball one. Jed is playing in his 84th this year. Most games he's played in a major league season, 88 last year. He had 309 at bats. He has 290 right now. He's just been hit with big time long-term injuries. It happened again this year. 2 balls, no strikes, but he's wearing the knee brace right now on that injured right knee. Also involved the nerve running down the right leg. Will play at second base. So he doesn't have the hamstring strain or anything minor. When he gets hurt, it's a big deal, unfortunately, and that's cost him large blocks of playing time. 2 balls and a strike to Jed. That was a nice comeback hit for him last night, that pinch 2-run double. 3-1. He told Greg Lucas on the interview after the game, "I'm not here just to play. I'm here to contribute. That's what I have in mind here." Well, he contributed the go-ahead hit that proved to be the game winner in the 8th inning last night. Fly ball to center field. Mayberry. For a 1-2-3 third for Cole Hamels and a 4-1 lead for the Phillies.
For a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 this year at the MLB World Series, presented by Scott's, the official lawn care company of MLB. And you know what? Oktoberfest is coming to Minute Maid Park tomorrow. The Hometown Nine take on the Phillies, brought to you by Budweiser. Purchase all-inclusive ticket packages for game ticket, access to the pregame event, beer sampling, live music, folk dancing, and more. Root now and buy tickets at astros.com/Oktoberfest, spelled like that. And I want you to wear your lederhosen. I know the folk dancers probably will, but everyone get your lederhosen out of your closets and come to the game dressed as a German traditionalist.
Okay. We can wear ours on Sunday since we're off tomorrow. Popped up. Dominguez back. And he has it. 1 out. Yeah, you want to be the guy who wears his outfit the day after everybody else wears theirs, right?
No, that's not. That's like that time we had a noted college coach showed up not on the day that was his college's day.
Oh.
It's a team that plays now in the SEC and is famous for faux pas.
Okay.
A few years ago.
certain team maybe to the west of here?
A little west and north, yeah, a little bit.
Maybe out around 290 area? And
kind of that one.
Kind of around...
That's the one. They're famous for things.
So what happened? He showed up in it was not Aggie night, and he showed up on...
Yeah, he showed up like the next night or the next week or something, and people wondered what the deal was.
Mayberry takes it. It's a strike. It's 1-1. He singled in a first inning run with a hit to center field. Edgar Gonzalez trailing here 4-1.
I think we should have a Scottish night at the ballpark.
We don't?
And everybody could wear kilts.
Oh, now that would be some fun. Especially in the summer. That would in July. 2 balls and a strike. Pirates lost today to the Cubs 7-4. Russin was the winner and McDonald lost it. Marmo got his 20th save. McCutchen hit his 27th homer. Castro number 13 for Chicago. That was a 3-run shot for Starlin Castro. 3 balls 1 strike to Mayberry. Pirates are dropping like a rock. They've lost something like 23 of 32. It's been a precipitous slide.
You know, maybe if they can just get 1 win, they can relax a little bit and turn it around and start to play better. I mean,
and he nailed it to left field into the corner. Mayberry legs it into second. Here's Maxwell, and the throw is offline. A double for Mayberry. That's his 23rd double of the year.
Edgar's lucky that one didn't end up on the train tracks. It's kind of a floating changeup. Stays back just a little bit longer and gets some lift. That would have gone a long way as it is. It's a good solid line drive double for Mayberry. I think that blister's bothering Edgar a little bit. Just watching him move around out there. A little tentative. He's a tough guy though.
He wanted to stay in Cincinnati, but there wasn't enough time to attend to that blister before he went out to pitch again. Kevin Franson bounced into a forced play earlier. There's ball 1. He also said that he was sliding into a hole that was dug by the other pitcher. I think it was Johnny Cueto maybe, or whoever opposed him in that game. Yeah, it was Johnny Cueto, so that could happen to a pitcher sometimes. His foot lands just kind of at the edge of that hole.
Yeah, if it doesn't land just right, you kind of off kilter a little bit, or if even if your shoe's a little too big, your foot will slide in there when you plant.
Yeah.
And if you got a little irritation or blister, that would really irritate it.
Detroit leads 4-0 at Cleveland. They're in the last of the 7th inning with Verlander on the mound. Tigers trail the White Sox by 1 game in the AL Central. It's Tampa Bay 3, the Yankees 2. They're in the bottom of the 6th at Yankee Stadium with David Price on the hill for the Rays.
Price and Sabathia.
Oh, yeah.
At Yankee Stadium tonight.
Anderson hit his 38th for New York. Tampa Bay is slipping. With a shot into center field. Mayberry will score on this Franson hit. The throw comes in. It's offline. Wallace picks it up down low, and Franson has his 11th run batted in to make it 5-1 Phillies.
They're able to hold them at bay after that first inning onslaught, but now the Phillies, a couple good swings, double, line drive, single here by Franzen. Again, this ball up with not a whole lot on it. Hamill's a good hitter. So you have to defend against the bunt here, but would not be surprised in the least to see him take a whack.
Struck out earlier. Toss goes over to first. It's Boston 5, Toronto 3. They're in the bottom of the 6th in Toronto. And Barnway hit his 2nd home run for the Red Sox. Texas 2, Seattle nothing after 3 in Texas. Hamilton and Kinsler have gone deep. There's a strike to Hamels. That's Josh Hamilton's 42nd long ball. White Sox 1, Minnesota nothing. They've played 3 in Minnesota.
A win for that Russin kid for the Cubs today was his first major league win.
Okay.
and beating James McDonald, who had a really rough go of it in the second half.
Bunted. Dominguez going to Altuve. Sacrifice for Hamels, his 8th sacrifice. Franson to second, 2 outs. Hamels has put together a solid year. Had 7 straight quality starts. Phillies have to feel good with him on the mound.
Well, and that's the byproduct of all the winning they've been doing lately. When you're trying to slam the door, you tend to lean heavily on the bullpen, and Charlie Manuel has done that. Jonathan Papelbon was available last night, but not for more than an inning. The Omont kid, who ended up being charged with the loss in last night's game, was working in his 5th consecutive ball game. So he's ridden that bullpen pretty hard here through this winning streak. That came to an end last night.
Rollins takes a changeup for ball 1.
So he'd love to see his team continue to play add-on and make it easy for Hamels to pitch deep into this game.
Charlie has some good horses in that starting rotation. Last night he went with his 5th starter, Tyler Cloyd. Foul back, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count to Rollins, who led off the game with a homer. Baltimore and Oakland have a late start in Oakland tonight for Joe Saunders and Tom Malone. St. Louis and the Dodgers start later with Joe Kelly and Chris Capuano. Cardinals won a tight one last night from Los Angeles by 1 run. Jason Mott getting the save. Pulled foul.
And the Milwaukee Brewers, like the Phillies, have played their way back into this wild card race. They're a game above 500. They were 3.5 behind St. Louis entering play today, and they're losing 4-2 to the Mets right now, middle of the 4th in Milwaukee. It's interesting how your perspective is skewed by whether team's playing good or bad at the time, because they're still a game behind Pittsburgh, but you feel like they have a lot better chance than the Pirates do.
True. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chucky Fix warming up in the Houston bullpen.
Of course, the counter argument is, hey, the Phillies and the Brewers have had their run. They're going to run out of gas, and maybe the Pirates will catch their stride again.
Possible. Fick warming up with a 2-2 count on Rollins, and Pierre on deck. Rollins puts it in the air. Maxwell over into left field toward the line and gets there. Then he slides. He was losing his balance a little bit, but held on to make the catch, and it's 1 run, 2 hits, and a man left for the Phils. They lead it 5-1 in the 4th.
American Jack combo at Jack in the Box. It's a no-nonsense burger with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. Buy the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. And buy the motion picture Resident Evil Retribution in 3D and in theaters today. Now let's hear Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. They return to action.
Thanks, Greg. And the first pitch here in the bottom of the fourth inning to Matt Dominguez is ball one in tight. Dominguez just rolled that one between the mound and out toward the second baseman Utley for an infield hit in the second inning, but he was stranded at third. Takes that one. It's a 1-1 strike count. Matt was around the batting cage with hitting coach Ty Van Berkelio talking about going back to Chatsworth High School. They both attended that school. 2 balls and a strike. Well, they have that in common. Not exactly the same era. Matt's father works for the LA Times. Grounds this one, and there's a dive by Utley. He can't stop it. It's a base hit through the right side, and Dominguez is 2 for 2 in this game.
Saw Utley steal that base, but I wonder if that knee problem has created some issues for him laterally because he was really slow getting started. Ball sharply hit by Dominguez. Kind of a late break. It took a while before Utley really got up to speed. But a leadoff knock. The Astros continue to put pressure on Hamels.
Matt hit it sharply through the right side, and he's aboard for Matt Downs. Downs fouled out to third earlier. Strike one. Getting the call in right field tonight against the lefty Hamels. He is 2 for 4 coming into this game in his career against Cole Hamels. Cole has 88 major league wins, 60 losses, and a 3.34 career ERA. He was a first round pick in 02. 17th player drafted. That one almost hit Downs. Got his right foot out of the way. 1-1. He got both feet out of the way, in fact. Hamels is from San Diego. That's a deep drive to left field. Juan Pierre back. 2-run homer for Downs. It's 5-3 as Downs goes deep for the 8th time this year into the Landry's Crawford boxes. 16 runs batted in for Matt Downs. So after he skipped rope, he hit a rope.
The Astros came from down 4 in the ball game last night. Scored 3 in the 4th inning on a 3-run home run from Dominguez, and then 3 in the 8th. And they're getting good swings out of Hamels. Have had plenty of traffic, and no doubt about it, it was kind of fun to watch Hamels' reaction because he didn't turn his head. He just started walking towards home plate for a new ball.
8 long balls for Downs. Now it's a 2-run lead. 394-footer. Brandon Laird on deck. Chris Snyder with strike one. Chris walked in the second inning. We got the crowd stirred up. Last night it was Matt Dominguez starting to come back for the Astros with a 4th inning long ball. That was a 3-run shot. Now another 4th inning blow tonight. A little tap out to second. Utley taking care of out number 1. And now the pinch hitter Brandon Laird will come up. Batting for Edgar Gonzalez. Gonzalez in 4 innings allowed the Phillies 6 hits, 5 runs. He walked 1, fanned 2. Chucky Fick warming up as Laird brings a batting average of .222. He's 2 for 9. One of those hits a long ball. Laird is 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. He looks at ball 1. Altuve's on deck.
Brandon just 9 AB since joining the Astros. At 15 home runs for AAA Scranton in the Yankee organization before being picked up by the Astros. 31 doubles, hit 254. Missed a few days. He was down and out with the flu-like symptoms anyway.
Sure was. 2 balls and a strike. Cost him some playing time in Cincinnati, and that's when Dominguez really exploded and had that big series. Cole Hamels was the World Series MVP in 08. Played by Franson into out number 2. Now Altuve, he's 2 for 2. Edgar Gonzalez threw 79 pitches tonight in his 4 innings of work. Something cold is in store for some of those fans. You see that the average temperature actually has been warmer this year in Houston than a year ago. That's hard to believe. Altuve hits it to third. Franson was in tight. And there's the scoop by Howard. Dominguez single. He rode home on the Downs 2-run homer, and it's 5-3 Phillies.
Us, what do you drive tomorrow? No TV here on Fox Sports Houston, but Dallas Keuchel will be pitching. 14th big league start. He'll go against the Phillies in Game 3. This 4-game set. Makes the start in search of his second big league win. Worked 4 innings. He got a no decision last time out. That was against the Cubs here at Minute Maid Park, allowing just 1 run in those 4 innings. It's his first career start against the Phillies, and we encourage you to go to Astros Radio. Dave Raymond and Brett Dolan with the call, and we got a new pitcher on the mound as Chucky Fick takes the mound. Go back to Brownie and JD, guys.
Thanks, Kevin. We'll be having our production meeting, of course, tomorrow night during the game.
Absolutely, before and after.
Get all set for Sunday. Chucky Fick is 0-1 in 14 games. He has an ERA of 4.42.
Chucky, fastball, slider, changeup. Tries to sink the fastball. Needs to cut down on the walks.
There's strike 1 to Juan Pierre. Pierre drew a walk and stole a base and scored in the first inning. And he struck out in the second. Matt Dominguez is on the grass at third. That's chopped over the mound. It looks like trouble. Here's an infield hit. Altuve tried to be quick, but Pierre's aboard again. We're going to Bart Ennis right now.
That's good, because I've got a concert update for you. Paul McCartney is coming to Minute Maid Park on Wednesday, November 14th. Tickets went on sale today. Visit all Ticketmaster locations for tickets, and don't miss out on the first concert in Houston in nearly 7 years for the former Beatle, guys.
7 years.
Oh, open the door. Let him in. What a terrible song that was.
JD will be the warm-up act for Sir Paul. I think he's warming up right now. That wasn't his best.
That wasn't his best ever.
No. How many clinkers do you think he had?
I'd give him a few, don't you?
Yeah. Anybody who's recorded that many songs has to kick a few.
Hey, had him leaning.
Utley had the RBI single in the first inning. He's 1 for 2. Bart, do you have any suggestions for that?
I have a Paul McCartney question.
Okay.
Does he have to change the lyrics to the song now to When I Was 64?
I think he does.
Yeah.
He's. I think he turned 70 this summer.
Yeah, I think so.
Pitch out, runner going, and the throw is right there for the tag by Lowry. Caught stealing on Pierre. Well, Snyder made a good throw earlier, didn't get a call. This time, he guns down Pierre on the pitch out.
Thought he had him last time, no doubt about it. This time, well executed pitch out, catch and throw from Snyder to get the still speedy Juan Pierre.
Yeah, almost beat the pitch out. 1-0 to Utley. Now it's 2 balls, no strikes. Kevin, what do you think about that big concert?
Hey, guys, there was a story about the Padres whenever Greg Maddux was with the Padres. And they were visiting the Hall of Fame, and Trevor Hoffman had his son visiting the Hall of Fame. He looked at there's a pair of blue spikes in there, and they were Greg Maddox's spikes. And he said, God, Dad, I didn't know that he played for anybody before the Padres. He said that's like saying I didn't know Paul McCartney was in a band before Wings.
Yeah. Different eras.
Kind of like J.K. up here earlier. We were just going to know him from his Survivor. Hey, that's a Survivor guy.
Well, you know, a whole generation thought Joe DiMaggio just did Mr. Coffee commercials. Oh, he played ball?
Shirley Temple's a drink. Tommy John's a doctor.
Arnold Palmer's a drink.
Yeah, 50 years from now, Arnold Palmer's just going to be an iced tea and lemonade.
Utley's aboard with a walk. And it's Ryan Howard with an RBI double and 2 trips coming up. Chucky Fick came back from Oklahoma City on September 4th. He last pitched Wednesday night in the Cubs series, won an inning and 2/3, giving up 1 hit, 1 run.
There's a breakdown on what they did with Howard last time, trying to stay away from the big fella, and hit the ball to left field. There's no part of the ballpark that can hold him if he catches all of it. And he doesn't have to get a whole lot of it to get out of here to left field. He can be beat and be laid on a fastball. If it's up a little bit, just punch it and pop it into the Crawford boxes.
Howard's hit 296 career home runs. 33 last year. The ball 1 to him. Howard was a 5th round draft choice in 01. Last year was his 6th consecutive 30 homer 100 RBI season. That was a Phillies club record. Howard takes it. It's a strike, and it's 1-1. It's Detroit 4, Cleveland nothing. Bottom of the 8th now. Justin Verlander has been taken out of the game. Joaquin Benoit pitching currently for Detroit. Tampa Bay 5, the Yankees 2, top of the 8th at Yankee Stadium. Fernando Rodriguez warming up for Houston right now. So the Rays dropping back now after being thumped by Baltimore are 4 games behind the co-leaders, Baltimore and the Yankees, with that 3-game losing streak. Birds flying high. A 3-game winning streak coming into tonight. 2-1 to Howard.
Yeah, really important game for Tampa tonight. Certainly important for the Yankees too. But the Rays, with Price on the mound, they gotta win all of his starts.
That's ball 3. It's 3-1. Last night, Lancaster won at Modesto in the opener of their best-of-5 series for the California League Championship. Domingo Santana went 3 for 4 with an RBI and threw out a runner at the plate. They're playing game 2 of the series tonight at Modesto. And they'll be getting started in about 25 minutes. Tri-City lost the championship game in the New York Penn League last night at Hudson Valley 8-3. They won their division. They set a franchise record in wins with 51, 25 losses, and got to the championship game this year. Very good year for Tri-City.
Chucky paying a lot of attention to Chase Utley right there. He had to focus a little bit more on Howard right now. This is a big pitch coming.
Three balls, 2 strikes as Utley was going on that one.
And you know, it's interesting because Chucky with a real quick delivery there to give Snyder a chance to throw out Utley in a potential stolen base. But I think the best part of it was Howard wasn't ready to hit. He was behind that fastball.
Full count as Utley takes his lead again, and Fick steps off the rubber. Another throw goes over on Utley. The Angels got 4 in the 4th. They lead 4-3 at Kansas City. They're in the bottom of the 5th inning. C.J. Wilson on the mound. The Angels have been scoring a lot of runs lately in his starts. Billy Butler hit his 26th home run for Kansas City. Mike Moustakas added his 20th. Runner going, and it's ball 4. Back-to-back walks now for Chucky Fick. Have him in some trouble with Ruiz coming up. Ruiz is 0 for 2 with a fly ball to right and a ground ball to third.
Chris Snyder looking into the Astros dugout for an assignment from Tony D, or waiting for Tony D to stride out and head to the mound and make a pitching change.
Tony has mentioned several times pitchers throwing strikes, especially relievers coming into games. That's been elusive for Chucky Fick in this inning. And he tends to gravitate more toward the strike throwers. It's 5-3 Phillies. More in a moment.
making cancer history, and it was on this date. Shane Reynolds did something in 1999 that was rare. He had a 2-run homer to help the Astros pound the Phillies 12-2. The victory set a team record 12-game winning streak. Shane, of course, is one of the top 25 players on the team, and he's also one of the legends that should be part of the luncheon next weekend. This moment in Astros history brought to you by M.D. Anderson. Something else happened on this date, and it still only happened once. It happened in 1999 when a father and a son hit back-to-back homers. Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. both homered. Turned out to be back-to-back, but it was actually the first time father and son had even homered in the same game. Kirk McCaskill is the pitcher for the Angels that gave him up.
Fernando Rodriguez comes in the game for the Astros. He's pitcher number 3 of the night. He inherits runners at first and second and 1 out. He's 1-10 with a 5.80 ERA. Wednesday night against the Cubs, he gave up 1 run in 1 inning. Carlos Ruiz, the batter. And strike 1 on the fastball to Ruiz.
Smattering of Philly fans here. Chooching. You chant chooch when he comes up. Chooch was a little tardy on that heater.
It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Miami's shutting out Cincinnati 4-0. Reds batting in the top of the 9th in Miami. Greg Dobbs hit his 5th home run. A rough second half for Ozzie Guillen's club with a 63-81 record right now.
Yeah, he had to get back on Twitter because he was bored. He'd gotten off Twitter for a while because he got into some hot water and just couldn't take it anymore and jumped back on.
Some people have to be saved from themselves. Back towards second, and Utley's back to the bag. It's Washington 1, Atlanta 1 in Atlanta, bottom of the 7th inning. Bryce Harper's 19th home run has provided the Nationals run. They have a healthy lead on the Braves, but the Braves are looking good for a wild card spot. Ground ball, Dominguez, short hop play, throws to second, and a relay to first, not in time. That was very nice by Dominguez to take that ball and go back to second base for out number 2.
Yeah, he's pretty slick down there at third base. That was the reputation, and he's done nothing here to prove otherwise. Very solid defender. Not the easier play. The easier play is just to go over to first base for the out there, but you can keep that man out of scoring position. It's well worth it.
Yes, sir.
If you trust yourself, trust your hands and the accurate arm.
Dominic Brown is 0 for 2, ground out and a pop. 7 hits for the Phillies, 6 for the Astros. Philadelphia has the only error. That's ball 1. Phillies at 500 right now, 72-72. They're in 6th place in the wild card race. The first 2 will make the playoffs. So effectively, they're competing with 3 other teams to try to go after that number 2 spot in the wild card. Actually, 4 other teams. Because Atlanta's looking pretty good right now. 5 games better than St. Louis. St. Louis is in the number 2 spot in the wild card situation. 2 ahead of LA. That's why the Cardinals win over the Dodgers was big last night.
The Dodgers, they just can't score.
No.
Scored 14 runs in their last 8 ball games.
They traded for Hanley Ramirez. He's helped some. They got Matt Kemp back from an injury. Ethier came back from an injury. Ruiz takes off without a play on him. It's ball 3 to Brown.
So the advantage again by getting the force on Howard disappears with Ruiz taking second base. They had moved behind him, weren't holding him on with the left-handed hitter up, and Ruiz has been bothered by that plantar fasciitis, so they probably made an assumption that he wouldn't run. And Chooch double-crossed him.
Sure did. Intentional walk now to Brown. Loads the bases for Mayberry. Mayberry has a pair of hits. One drove in a run. Joe Bettini, the bench coach for Tony DeFrancesco.
Plenty of baseball left, folks. It's only the 5th inning. If you want to come on out to Minute Maid Park, catch the final couple hours of this one, we welcome you out. The beer is cold. The dogs are hot. Fireworks after the ball game. We'll peel back the roof, weather permitting.
Is the weather going to permit tonight, JD? What do you hear about
I don't know. Once I'm in here, weather doesn't exist.
You're like Tony D.
It's a magical fantasy land where weather does not exist.
Tony said that today when he was talking about managing a major league club, getting here early and leaving late. He said a lot of times I don't even know what the weather is.
If you're winning, it's sunny.
Fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. San Francisco and Arizona just got started. There's no score as they go to the bottom of the 1st inning in the desert. Ross Detweiler pitched 6 good innings for Washington tonight in Atlanta. Left after allowing 1 run. Chris Medlin went 7 innings. He left after allowing 1.
It's a bad start for Medlin.
It is a bad start for him.
He had 10 punch-outs through 5 tonight.
Oh.
He might be the best pitcher nobody heard of prior to this year.
Yeah. Grounder off the leg of Rodriguez. It trickles out to Altuve. A run scores. Here's a throw to the plate. Snyder with the tag effort doesn't get him. 2-run score. Ruiz hustled on home from second. And the Phillies lead 7-3. Great hustle by Ruiz.
For a guy with a bad foot, he sure is doing a lot of running. Taking second base, and then Juan Samuel with an aggressive send of Ruiz. That pays off. There's a deflection off of Efrod. And it's not like they caught Altuve napping or anything. He was on the play, picked up the ball immediately, looked home, and made the throw. And Juan Samuel cranking that right arm the whole way, sending Ruiz home. Nice slide to the back corner of home plate.
It's a rare 2-run infield single. Finally scoring, telling Ruiz to get down, and he did. 7-3 now. Franson the batter. There's ball 1 to him.
Oh, great look as the hand gets in just before Chris can apply that tag. With a little help from Utley, that's good baseball there.
Well, that on-deck hitter can really be important, or in this case, the guy who just scored ahead of him, whoever's giving instructions to that trailing runner on what to do. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's 2-1.
No hesitation from Juan Samuel, the third base coach. He was an aggressive base runner. The coaches like he played.
Yeah. You won't see a lot of catchers score on that hit.
Just for catchers with plantar fasciitis.
Foul back. 2-2 to Franson. His 2 runs charged to Chucky Fick. Gives Cole Hamels at least a 7-3 lead going to the bottom of the 5th inning. Hamels is on deck right now. He taps the breaking pitch over to Juan Samuel. Who one-hands it, tosses it up to a Philly fan.
He's really having a nice inning down there. Good send. Good catch on the chopper.
He's a complete coach.
Yeah. He's coaching the whole game, Brownie.
Might be the most well-rounded coach we've seen in a while.
He's getting a very good angle.
Three balls and 2 strikes. Well, you know, third base coaches are very seldom noticed by most fans. Usually when they get a guy thrown out of the plate, that's when they're noticed.
Yeah. Nobody gives the third base coach a standing ovation for a good aggressive send, you know, on a bang play. But if that guy's out,
or if he throws a stop sign up and then the ball gets away from the catcher, the chorus of boos rains down.
Yeah. Runners going, and it's strike 3. That ends the top of the 5th inning. Phillies come up with 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave 2. They're up 7-3.
Here's a little trivia note for you. There's the answer. Emily Reppert, the female that appears on every Astros telecast. She's here to tell us about Chevy Hometown Kids. She's the host. Show's never about the score, but rather the experience. You can see the live for first broadcast I shoot each Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston, or you go to hometownkids.tv for more information. That is a trivia question, though. Which female is shown on every single Astro telecast? Emily Reppert.
Not Patty Smith, as we would have
No,
guessed.
she's on half the home games only. Emily.
That's ball 1 to Brandon Barnes, and he puts this in the air. And Jimmy Rollins is out into shallow left center field. Mayberry calls him off. And that's out number 1 for Cole Hamels. Barnes is 0 for 3 in this game.
You get a lot of lazy fly balls like that when Cole Hamels is on his game. Again, the Astros had pretty good night against them. 3 runs, 6 hits as they come to bat here in the 5th inning. But because his changeup is so good, hitters have to respect that. And he gets a lot of late swings, just a little bit off that fastball, even though he's not a real hard thrower. 89 to 92. And he'll throw some fastballs up in the zone, but it's that good changeup that forces the hitters to stay back, that extra beat.
Strike to Wallace. Brett is 1 for 2 in this game. Hamels had back-to-back complete game shutouts August 7th and 13th against Atlanta and Miami. It's no balls, 2 strikes. He came into this game 6th in the league in strikeouts, 8th in innings pitched. Closing in on 200 innings. He won't quite get there tonight. Wallace punched out. That's out number 2. Strikeout number 4 for Hamels. Justin Maxwell next. He's 0 for 2 with an RBI.
An inside changeup to a left-handed hitter. That used to be taboo for a left-handed pitcher. You just didn't want to go in there for fear if you made the least little mistake, the guy would just run into it and knock it out of the ballpark. But we've seen a lot of pitchers have success with that pitch.
Well, there's a solid reason for it. Fly ball left field. Hit well by Maxwell. It's arching off the Chick-fil-A foul ball. 3 chicken sandwiches. And a home run for Maxwell to take over the club lead. That's number 15 for J-Max. It takes his hitting streak to 8 games. It's 45 runs batted in and 7-4 now.
Let the people eat the chicken. Towering home run. And he catches him out in front, too. It's off the end of the bat, but it's 315 feet down the line. Listen for it. You hear the rattle. That means chicken sandwiches.
People here at the game have a chance to take in those ticket stubs to a Chick-fil-A tomorrow. Get a free sandwich. They strike one.
See if I can trade a baseball for a ticket from some of these fans down below.
Yeah.
Trade some peanuts for a ticket.
Jed Lowry looks at strike two. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Somehow that sandwich is not quite as appetizing anymore after that sound effect. That's strikeout number 5, and we go to the 6th inning. On the J-Max homer, it's 7-4 Phillies.
A progressive fan of the game, and tonight's fan is not only a fan of the game here tonight, she's a real fan of the game because Linda Beltran has been spending the last several months making the rounds to all 30 Major League Baseball parks. Tonight, her stop at Minute Maid Park is her final stop on that tour. Thanks for being with us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So, how do you like it?
I'm very impressed. I appreciate that because of the weather, we'll never get a rain out here, but I do enjoy an open-air park, but this is a lovely combination of being able to see outside and being covered.
All right, so give us a little critique of your favorite ballpark and your least favorite.
Oh, I really do appreciate a park with a view, so I do have a particular favorite to Pac Bell or Pittsburgh PNC and also Cincinnati because you've got the water in the back. And my least favorite park, unfortunately, is a dome park, and it's in the Tropicana in Tampa Bay. It's a lot of distraction going out in the concourse, and it almost makes the game seem like an afterthought. And I'm a baseball purist, so I want to enjoy the game. I want to enjoy the park. So that was my least favorite.
And what's your home base? Where do you live?
I actually live in D.C., but I was born and raised in California.
Okay, and what inspired you to make this tour? I've talked to several people who have done it over the years. What inspired you to do it?
I moved away to Tokyo, Japan for 2.5 years, and while they are a fanatic about baseball, it's a little bit different version of our game. And when I returned back to America and ended up on the East Coast, I just realized the proximity I had, as most of the parks are on the East Coast. So it just kind of snowballed into, I could do 6 parks this year. I could do 10. So last year I did 11 parks, and this is my 10th park this season.
And your last name is Beltran, so I'm sure you get this question all the time. Are you related to Carlos Beltran?
I am not, although I wish I was. I could probably get better seats, but it does make people a good connotation. Oh, you must be, related, but I'm not.
Well, Linda Beltran, we appreciate you being with us. We're glad you came to Houston, got your Colts 45 jersey.
I'm official.
So congratulations for being our progressive fan of the game and on your tour.
Thank you so much.
Brownie, back to you.
That was interesting to hear her thoughts on it, Bart. Thank you. Cole Hamels batting. And the pitcher is Jose Valdez. He's pitcher number 4. Tony DeFrancesco tonight. It's a line shot left field, and Cole Hamels has hit his way on. It's his 15th base hit this year.
Well, Valdez has worked 5 times for the Astros since being called up from AAA. He was the closer down there. So far, he's not given up any runs in 5 innings. He's walked 3, struck out 4. Has to work around this leadoff knock to Hamels.
And Jimmy Rollins is up. He led off the game with a homer. He's 1 for 3. Ball 1 to J. Roll. Over toward the line, it's Maxwell. 1 out for Valdez.
Chris Medlin ended up striking out 13 tonight, Brownie, in 7 innings for the Braves. That game still tied 1-1, Atlanta and Washington. Atlanta coming to bat in the bottom of the 9th. Man, Medlin's been good. He has a 1.62 ERA.
He's followed the reverse course of Steven Strasburg.
The only run scored by the Nationals tonight, a Bryce Harper home run, his 19th.
Juan Pierre has a walk and a single. Did you hear that Strasburg is going to perhaps be used in some pinch hitting assignments?
He can swing it.
Yeah. He's not finished. Doubt if he'd make a playoff roster, but he could help him win a regular season game. Juan Pierre takes ball 1.
Now Harper's playing his way back into this Rookie of the Year conversation.
Yes, he
early
is.
on, it looked like he was going to be the guy, and then he went into a funk, and others have outperformed him. But lately, he's been really, really good.
It's 1-1. And the others on that Washington team, other than Strasburg, starting to come in for more attention as well. The Espinosas and the Zimmermans. You know, both Ryan and Jordan Zimmerman for that matter.
And Adam LaRoche has had a heck of a bounce back year for them.
He's another one.
Harper hitting .341 in the month of September. He's hit 3 bombs, 4 with tonight. Valdez best pitch probably his split finger fastball. He does have good velocity, or at least he's shown good velocity at times.
Now Tony D said a couple of days ago he'd really like to see him throw more fastballs.
Sometimes you know late in the year you've thrown a fair number of innings, and you know all the ups and downs that you go through as a relief pitcher, and you just don't feel like the ball's jumping out of your hand, and you don't trust the fastball quite as much. We saw him in 93, 94 last year. I don't know that we've seen him up there, certainly not with any regularity.
Struck him out. 2 outs.
And again, he's had just a handful of appearances.
Yeah.
And here again, another good splitter.
Chase Utley's next. He has an RBI single, a line out to left, and a walk. He has scored 2 runs tonight. Utley's taking, and it's strike 1. This is game 2 of a 4-game series. We'll be back on the air again Sunday afternoon. JD and Larry Anderson doing an interview on Astros Live at 12:30. And Jordan Lyles and Roy Halladay providing the entertainment at 1 o'clock. You're surrounded by pitching that day. Both the pregame interview and the Lyles and Halladay matchup. Of course, you know, JD and Larry might be talking hitting. Who knows what they're going to do.
I doubt that we'll get around to pitching.
It seems so trivial when you two guys are together. Talk pitching.
Larry, for a time, was a pitching coach in the Philly organization.
Struck him out looking, and it's no runs a hit and a man left. Middle of the 6th inning. And the Phillies have the upper hand with Hamels on the mound. Valdez gets the out at 7-4. First brings you a reverse replay looking at Matt Dominguez. He comes in and fires to first base. And he got Carlos Ruiz on that play.
And a couple nice plays down there tonight.
He leads it off for the home 6th inning. He's 2 for 2, taking strike 1. Dominguez single leading off the 4th inning and rode home on the Mad Downs 2-run homer. Astros trailing by 3. Cole Hamels has needed only 75 pitches so far. He just rips that one foul. It's 0-2.
Here's the face of a man who just got rung up on strike 3. Straight anguish.
Ground ball third. Franson. 1 out. He might not want to put that on a portrait, but you kind of saw the emotion on the face.
You know, I think if you were to talk to any manager in the league and say, hey, you're going up against Cole Hamels tonight, would you take 4 runs when you come to bat in the 6th inning, or do you want to take what's behind the curtain? And they would say, give me those 4 runs. Unfortunately, it hasn't been enough tonight.
True. Grounded foul by Downs, and it's 0-1 to Matt.
Hamels, you take 4 in 9 innings.
Lifetime record on the road is 41-28 with an ERA of 3.5. This year he's 8-3 away from Citizens Bank Park. No balls, 2 strikes. Kyle Kendrick and Dallas Keuchel will do the pitching tomorrow night here at 6:05. The Sunday game is the finale of this homestand. Monday is a travel day for the Astros. Hector Ambrose warming up for Houston right now. And they'll be in St. Louis Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Back home next weekend. That's a high drive to left field. Pierre underneath it. 2 outs. Downs got underneath that one a little bit. This time Hamels got him.
You see the eyebrows?
Yep. And it's Chris Snyder next. Snyder is walked and bounced out. Hamels had 8 straight quality starts earlier this year. He's come into this game with 7 in a row. He won't get one tonight because he's given up 4 runs already, which is one too many for a quality start.
Hamels signed a 6-year, $144 million extension with the Phillies on July 25th. Through the 2018 season, a club vesting option for 2019.
It's pretty far out on the curve, JD. But, as you pointed out, he's 28.
They limited no trade provision.
Okay. JD Martinez on deck. See, Roy Halladay is 35.
Chris Carpenter due back. Maybe we'll make a start against the Astros next week in St. Louis.
Ooh. Cliff Lee is 34, so Hamels really is a lot younger than both of those 2 teammates. Two balls, 2 strikes. Does it say which day Carpenter might start?
No, I just heard something today where there was some talk that he may start.
Hamels is
the
thrown.
Astros.
Okay. Maybe the Bud Norris game. Hamels has thrown 20 of 26 first pitch strikes. Missing there to take the count full on Snyder with JD Martinez on deck. Pitcher spot due up next.
I think Carpenter was scheduled to throw another simulated game, and then if all went well, they would pick a spot to insert him into the rotation.
Oh, he's back quickly. Very quickly. Struck him out. That's number 6 for Hamels. That ends the 6th inning, and the Phillies are up 7-4.
If it's stylish, intelligent, safe, and affordable, it's probably a Hyundai. By AT&T, rethink possible. And by Mattress Firm, save money and sleep happy. Back to the booth, Bill Brown and Jim Bechet.
Thank you, Greg Lucas. It's 7-4. The Phillies lead it. They erupted with 4 in the first inning. And Cole Hamels has survived a 2-run homer by Matt Downs. A solo shot by Justin Maxwell as the Astros have mounted a threat. Now it's Valdez working the 7th inning. 17,535 the paid attendance tonight. Ryan Howard leads it off. Howard had an RBI double in that 4-run first. Then he flied to left and he walked. Infield shifted around. Altuve in right field. Strike for Valdez. Gave up a leadoff single to Hamels in the 6th inning and then got the next 3. They're in the top of the 9th at Yankee Stadium with the Tampa Bay Rays leading the Yankees 5-4. It's a foul ball. Alex Rodriguez added his 18th home run to the scoring. Yankees got 2 in the bottom of the 8th after the Rays got 1 in the top half.
Braves just knocked off the Nationals in the bottom of the 9th.
Ooh, that's a big win for Atlanta. 1 ball, 1 strike. Those two teams could be meeting, of course, in the playoffs. Nationals had an 8.5 game lead over the Braves.
Yeah, it would take a minor miracle for the Braves to track down the Nationals, but they're just looking to solidify their position in the wild card race.
Sure. Nationals came into that game with the best road record in baseball, 45-27. They are 10-6 against the Braves this year now. Foul ball. The Braves had been swept by Milwaukee and scored only 3 runs in those 3 games. Braves trying to avoid that collapse that they had last year. Two balls, 2 strikes. And sometimes teams will say, well, if we play a team well at the end of the season, even though we may have lost the season series to them, that's kind of fresh in our minds. We meet them in the playoffs, feeling a little bit better about the situation. Howard drills one into the Phillies dugout.
And it's interesting how that works. Players may say that, fans think it, writers write it, but I think in reality it doesn't matter a lick.
No, it shouldn't. But
I don't think there's any evidence to support it. You know, oh yeah, we played those guys good in the regular season. You can own a team in the regular season, get into the postseason, and get swept.
It's happened many times. Center fielder Barnes comes in for it now. He started back, now still moving into right center. One out. Barnes stayed up for a long time. It fooled him. And Altuve sharing a moment.
This is the anniversary of Denny McLain becoming the first 30-game winner since Dizzy Dean in 1934 from McLain. It happened in 1968 on this date. He won his 30th. No one has done it since. Bob Welch and Steve Carlton have each won 27 for the highest win total since McLain's 68 campaign.
Carlos Ruiz is 0 for 3. There's ball 1. Yeah, if that happens again, we've got a story on our hands. The way starting pitchers are used right now. It's 2 balls, no strikes. And now you've got the reverse situation. You've got a Strasburg being shut down in September. The investment that major league clubs have in their pitchers, they would almost be tempted to do that if a guy was on his way to 30 wins. Oh, this will kill him next year. Too many innings. 3 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible.
next to, it seems.
Yeah. It's not that a pitcher couldn't do it, but I don't think his organization would let him. It depends on how many innings he piled up.
Yeah, you'd have to be awfully lucky. You'd have to be winning a lot of games where you went, 6 innings and your team scored a bunch of runs for you and your bullpen deserved the win.
Exactly.
Generally, when you think about those big win seasons, it's guys that were able to pitch a lot of innings. For instance, I'm just looking up McLean's numbers here in '68. He finished 31-6 that year. Completed 28 games through 336 innings. Following year, he was 24-9 through 325 innings. But in defense of the modern thinking, his career went down severely after that.
Yes.
He had a lot of other issues going on in his world.
He did. Back to Dominic Brown. Brown's 0 for 2 with an intentional walk.
McLean was out of the game at the age of 28.
Wow. No balls, 2 strikes to Brown. Well, you might say a flame out, but he piled a lot of innings into that period of time that he pitched. '68, quite a year for McLean and Bob Gibson and Mickey Lolich of Detroit as well. High drive right field. That's going to get out easily and be upper deck. A 2-run shot. 9-4 Phillies as Brown hits number 3. A majestic home run for Dominic Brown, the second of the night by a Philly, gives them a nice cushion.
Brown, an intriguing guy. For 2 or 3 years, he's been considered the top position player prospect for the Phillies, or at least one of the top 2 or 3. Didn't have monster numbers down at AAA this year. Valdez going down to his knees with that one. His body language saying, please stay in here, but no chance. This is staying in the yard. Second deck for Dominic Brown.
Used to be downtown. Ollie Brown with San Diego. Dominic took that one downtown. That's strike 1 to Mayberry. Mayberry's 3 for 3. He's driven in 3. He got a rare 2 RBI infield single in the 5th inning on the hustle of Carlos Ruiz, scoring from second on the play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, that 68 year. What Gibson did with the record ERA 1.12 and
Louis Tiant.
Yeah, he was another one. Lolich won the 3 games in the World Series over the Cardinals.
So they lowered the mound the next year.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike.
Carly Yastrzemski led the American League in batting with a .301 average.
I wonder what Ray Euler hit that year.
It was about something, I bet.
Yeah, it was in the ones. 3 balls and a strike.
Tiant had 9 shutouts.
Tony DeFrancesco pointing out the Astros were 6-6 in the month of September before the game today. Chopper to shortstop, cut off by Dominguez. 2 outs. And he really wants his club to think positively, to compete well against good teams like the Phillies. Phillies have trotted out some firepower tonight.
And that's the challenge when you're going through a year like the Astros are, just to find a way to keep it light, have some fun at the ballpark. It's one of those deals that's easier said than done. Tough for a manager because, especially Mills, Brad Mills, you just care so much.
Yeah.
And you get beat every day, it wears on you. I think that was probably the one thing that
made sense more than any when you consider the managerial change. Just I imagine Brad was wearing it, and probably difficult for him to be upbeat in that clubhouse. I mean, we're not in there, in those moments when it's just the players.
Sure.
He was always great with us. He was, always tried to find something positive to say about his guys.
He did. Yeah, and he would point out if there was some problem in the game the night before when he was talking to the media the next day. We talked about it, or whatever it was. So you knew it had been addressed, but out of the view of the media. And privately, that's the way the players like it. And sometimes it's the most effective way. So things were taken care of in that fashion. But still, there's a need to improve. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that's going to be the ongoing challenge.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting better players.
And we were talking on Astros Live tonight, JD, about next year a little bit. Foul back, 1 and 2. Obviously, a lot of things will happen this winter, and there'll be surprises to all of us. We don't know what the plans are. We were talking about Altuve, how he's established himself at second base. At shortstop, Lowry's been very good when he's been healthy. It looks as if Matt Dominguez can play third base. And Brett Wallace has had some good games at first. Looks like he'll be given a long chance. There'll be DH next year, and that'll be totally different for this organization. But it may not be one player that they would try to develop from within or try to trade for or sign as a free agent. It might be rotating between different players. Then there's the pitching staff, possible free agency, a lot of things in the mix that we really can't address right now. We know what the needs are.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, it doesn't make a lot of sense to be all that aggressive this winter to try to improve this club a whole lot. I mean, you would love to be able to do that, but the amount of money you would have to spend to make that happen would be exorbitant. Mm-hmm. And the idea all along has been, to rebuild, and I think Jim Crane and Jeff Luhnow have been very upfront with the fans, saying this is going to take a while, so don't abandon ship. You got these good young players down in the minor leagues and the lower levels. They're still a couple of years away.
Right.
So, the idea that it's going to turn around and next year it's going to be this magical winning season, that's just not going to happen. And from my point of view, it shouldn't happen. I mean, the plan should be to continue to move forward with this plan. And Jeff has done such a good job in the draft and acquiring young, talented players. I mean, you talked about those guys that we may see in the lineup next year, but in reality, if any one of those guys or if all of them were not back next year, that wouldn't be a shocker either. There are no cornerstone impact players on this current roster.
Off the glove of a diving Altuve, on through into center field. A hit for Franson. He's 2 for 4 now.
And as good as Jose has been, I mean, you could see him out there for 10 years, but he's still not the kind of guy you build around. He's not a big middle of the order slugging type guy.
Right.
Just a good solid player.
Yeah. Tony DeFrancesco now coming out. Altuve might be hurt. He had that abdominal muscle strain, but it also could be a pitching change, of course. Oh, Jose looks like he's all right. Jimmy Paredes is running out to the outfield. And we'll have a double switch. Anario Del Rosario coming in. It's 9-4 Phillies. Back after this.
underway. You know, you voted for it. Now it's here. You can come out to Minute Maid Park Wednesday, September 26th. 10,000 fans will take a home a J.R. Richard back-to-back 300 strikeout seasons bobblehead, courtesy of Comcast. Root now. Buy your tickets for Milo Hamilton Day at Astros.com or by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS. That'll be a big one. Get the J.R. Richard doll as we take a look at the double switch situation, Brownie.
Yeah, Jimmy Paredes batting in the 9 spot goes into play right field. And the new pitcher, Enario Del Rosario, goes into the number 7 spot. Matt Downs coming out of the game. Del Rosario has an ERA of 7.31. Cole Hamels is the batter. He has 1 hit and a sacrifice bunt.
Second night in a row, Tony D's made a pitching change with the opposing pitcher coming up. Things are going bad. You pull the pitcher with the opposing pitcher striding up to home plate.
2-0. When he was talking about being interviewed for next year's managerial post for the Astros, Tony D was asked by someone in the media, what do you consider your assets? He said, well, for one thing, the ability to stay loose on the bench during a game. And you could see that tonight. His team is down 9-4. But he was smiling, talking with Joe Patini, and he said that's part of my job, to be positive with the players. We talk during the game. Keep everything upbeat. That's a strike.
I think, you know, Mike Scott used to talk about his days with the Mets playing for Joe Torre. And Torre got widely panned when he was managing the Mets, and all of a sudden he became a genius when he was managing the Yankees.
Smacked into left center field by Hamels. Barnes on the track.
We'll cover that next inning if I remember.
We'll remind you, 2 runs on 2 hits with a man left. 7th inning stretch time. 9-4 Phillies. Tomorrow night. It's an earlier start as usual on Saturday at 6:05 and 6 o'clock airtime on Astros Radio. You can tune in earlier than that for the pregame show, and you see Kyle Kendrick and Dallas Keuchel tomorrow night. We're back on the air Sunday at 12:30 with Astros Live. JD, Larry Anderson, then Jordan Lyles and Roy Halladay. You were talking about Joe Torre managing the Mets.
Oh, yeah, when Scotty played for him in New York, and the thing that Mike said that really impressed him about Torre is when they were getting beat and struggling, he was always very upbeat. And when they were going good, he was always reminding guys when they made bad plays. Instead of looking the other way, some managers are inclined to do when things are going well, they kind of dismiss things and let things go. Joe is, he didn't want you to get too giddy, yeah, we won 4 in a row, but you missed the cutoff man, and you missed the bunt sign, and Let's tighten it up here.
Berettas taps it foul. Jimmy at 204 with no homers, 3 runs batted in. He's 1 for 10 right-handed. Switch hitter has fallen behind 0-2 against Cole Hamels. Berettas batting ninth after the double switch brought him into the game in right field. And he lunges for that changeup and strikes out. That's number 7 for Hamels.
It's just a devastating changeup. Berettas was kind of geared for the fastball. Easy prey to that straight change from Hamels.
Altuve has 2 hits tonight. He takes that one, and it's strike 1. Well, so Joe Torre was trying to keep things on an even keel. Don't get too high, don't get too low. And they thought about maybe getting too high with a nice winning streak. He'd remind them of things that needed to be addressed.
Yeah, because there's a tendency when things are going your way to all of a sudden, things slip a little bit. The attention to detail, maybe.
Good point. Curveball misses to Altuve. That makes it 1-2 to Jose. Red Sox 5, Blue Jays 5, top of the 9th in Toronto. Rangers 2, Mariners 1, bottom of the 7th in Texas. Foul ball takes the count. Still 2-1-2. The Mets are leading the Brewers 7-2. They're in the bottom of the 7th in Milwaukee. That's an important game for the Brewers in the wild card situation. Daniel Murphy and Lucas Duda have gone deep for the Mets. That's strike 3 call. Strikeout number 8 for Hamels.
Hamels at 94 pitches now as he works the 7th inning. Phillies have a 9-4 lead. This very well could be his last inning of work. Looks like he intends on finishing with a flourish. That's his 3rd consecutive strikeout.
Brandon Barnes is 0 for 3. Rolls this one out to second base. Utley to his left to make it a quick 7th inning for Hamels, and the Phillies lead it 9-4.
Today and take advantage of new low pricing the rest of the year. See every remaining Astros out-of-market game live online on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Astros.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv is baseball everywhere. You can follow other games as well. And it's especially important because there is a discount on, and you can take a look at it and see what you like about it. And remember to sign up for the full season next year.
Thanks, Greg. It is 9-4. The Phillies lead it. Jimmy Rollins is the batter. He led off the game with a homer. He's 1 for 4. There's strike 1 to him from Enario Del Rosario. Jose Valdez worked an inning and 2/3. He allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, and 1 walk, struck out 2. It's no balls, 2 strikes to J-Roll. Giants lead the Diamondbacks in Arizona 5-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Matt Cain on the mound. Cole Hamels homered off Matt Cain earlier this year. Rollins takes a spill, and it's 1-2. Giants are trying to go 20 games above 500.
The Dodgers made all those moves. It looked like they were going to make a run at the Giants, and they did creep to within a game or 2, didn't they, at one point?
Yeah, I think so.
But Dodgers have scuffled. Giants have continued to play well and came into play tonight with a 7.5 game lead over L.A.
Sharp single for Rollins. Jimmy's 2 for 5 tonight. The Giants maybe coasting. Good pitching staff getting set up for the playoffs. Let's see, they have a .566 winning percentage. That's far below Washington's .622 and Cincinnati's .604 coming into play tonight. If you're thinking about home field advantage for the playoffs. Juan Pierre has been on twice, once on a walk, once on an infield hit. He loops this one back over the screen. There's strike 1. Richard Justice was just covering the Beltway cities of Baltimore and Washington. So they're sure alive with baseball madness this time of year. That hasn't happened. Baltimore and Washington. That's crazy. No balls, 2 strikes. White Sox are trying to close out the Twins in Minnesota. It's 5-0 in the top of the 9th. Chicago. Chris Sale, the starter tonight.
Washington hasn't seen a team like this since Walter Johnson.
True. There's a shot on the ground in between 3rd and short. There wasn't a lot of room there, but Pierre steered it through. Reiner Cruz is warming up for Houston.
Phillies looking to get greedy here. Already have a 5-run lead, but back-to-back singles, nobody out. Now they've got Utley and Howard due up. Pierre doing what Pierre does, just slashing this ball between 3rd and short.
13 hits for the Phillies. Chase Utley drove in a run with his 1st inning single. He's 1 for 3 with a walk. He has scored twice. Rockies lead the Padres 5-4 in the bottom of the 2nd at San Diego. That's strike 1. Sig Mejdal was talking about the Rockies 4-man rotation as an experiment this year. We were discussing that, JD. Certainly understandable that the Rockies would blow up the model and try something different because it's been so tough to pitch in their ballpark down through the years. There's a line drive left field corner. Maxwell over. That will bounce and kick off the wall. Rollins is home. Pierre into 3rd. RBI double for Utley. And the Phillies extend their lead to 10-4. That's the 13th double for Utley and his 32nd run batted in.
Utley doing a nice job staying in the middle of the diamond. Base hit to center first time up, flew out to left his 2nd at bat. Walk, strikeout, and now this double into the left field corner as he continues to take aim at the Crawford boxes.
Now Doug Brocail goes out.
Yeah, well, I agree. I actually like what the Rockies are trying out there, and I haven't paid a lot of attention to them since we played them. But and they've been criticized in a lot of circles. They're trying to reinvent the wheel, blah blah blah. But why not a little outside of the box thinking, given what's happened there with the pitching staff?
Right. Exactly.
We were out there. I was talking to Jim Tracy, and I didn't propose what he had going, and I was kind of half kidding with him. I said, you might be better off with a staff of 12 or 13 guys who can give you 2 innings every other night. Just eliminate this whole starting pitcher idea, trying to get deep in games. If you could make that work, the staff with a whole bunch of guys that were durable enough to come back like that, even if you had to call in AAA, just think about the the problems that would create for the opposing manager with the matchups, and you go right, left, and hitters would face a different pitcher every at bat.
Howard fouls it for strike one. He has an RBI double and a walk. Well, the way they're working it, starting pitchers are only throwing about 75 to 80 pitches since they're working every fourth day instead of every fifth day. So that would seem to necessitate really good middle inning guys and more than a couple.
Yeah, and you take the ball out of a quote unquote fifth starter's hands. Every fifth day you're not running out a guy who by definition is your worst starting pitcher, or he wouldn't be your fifth guy.
Right. Yeah, but if you could develop that kind of depth, it might work. But then we were at the table and somebody brought up the idea of wins, getting wins. Starter isn't in games very long. Well,
yeah, well, hang with it.
Yeah. That goes by the wayside.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem we have in baseball, because the sport unique in that way that we assign wins. I guess they do it to a certain degree with quarterbacks and goaltenders, but nothing like we do with starting pitchers.
True.
Attach a win to an individual.
Liner into right center field. Howard will drive in at least one. Here's a throw to the plate by Paredes, and the tag by Snyder. He drove in two. Close play at the plate. Excellent throw from Paredes on one hop to Snyder, but it's a two-run single by Howard, and 12-4 Phillies now. 3 RBI game for Howard, giving him 44 for the year. That'll be it for Del Rosario.
Yeah, quick hook here necessitated. EBR wasn't fooling anybody. A nice play here though by Paredes. Nice to see him. He's had some problems out there in the outfield. Charge that ball, come up, make a good strong throw. And more to me, he looks much more like an outfielder than an infielder.
He does. 12-4 Philadelphia. Reiner Cruz coming in, back right after this. Paredes made a strong throw to the plate, but Chase Utley just beat the tag of Chris Snyder. Run number 12. They're going
people around a go crazy cam.
Okay.
Going on during the pitching change, and they went crazy, and they were ultimately rewarded with an appearance on the big screen, and jubilation rang throughout the village.
Reiner Cruz is 1-1 with a 6.52 ERA. Comes in to try to stop this frenzy as the Phillies have banged out 15 hits, 4 in a row here in the 8th inning with nobody out, and it's Ruiz batting. He's 0 for 3 with a walk, 2 runs scored for Chooch. Dominic Brown on deck. Howard is not being held on at first base. That's strike one. A rough night for first place teams. Washington lost. Cincinnati lost. Baltimore lost. The Yankees lost. Fly ball to right field. Paredes in for it. 1 out. See, that's not right. Baltimore has not lost. Baltimore is leading 1-0 in the top of the 4th at Oakland.
Tom Malone pitching for Oakland tonight. The crafty left-hander looking to set a record for rookie wins for the A's.
They've had some good rookies down through the years, too.
I was surprised to hear that he's still a rookie. I thought he had enough time with the Nationals before that wouldn't be the case.
Dominic Brown ripped a 2-run homer to the upper deck in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 3 with a walk. So the Birds can take over first from the Yankees, who lost to Tampa Bay, if they win at Oakland. Winning at Oakland not all that easy. The A's are 42-30 at home this year, despite their small crowds. Braves won it 2-1 over the Nationals. Craig Kimbrell beating Sean Burnett. Brown takes a look at ball 2, and it's 2 balls, no strikes.
Angels Royals in a slugfest. It's 7-7. Top of the 8th in Kansas City. Morales hit his 19th for the Angels. Francoeur, Butler, and Moustakas have all gone deep for Kansas City.
Foul back by Brown. That makes it 2-1. It was a 4-0 shutout for the Marlins in Miami over the Reds. The Reds got only 3 hits. Jacob Turner, the rookie pitcher.
He's the kid they got from the Tigers.
Yes, he was impressive in beating Bronson Arroyo tonight. Two balls and 2 strikes.
7 scoreless for Justin Verlander tonight as the Tigers shut out the Indians 4-0. How do you think the Indians felt when they realized that Verlander's start in Chicago got rained out? So he'd be pushed back a day to face them.
Not lucky.
Come on, guys.
This seems to happen when teams are in the doldrums. They get more and more piled on them like that. Struck him out. 2 outs. David Price won his 18th in the Rays 6-4 win over the Yankees. Good heater there.
Yeah, not even close. Way behind this heater. A lot of drift for that front side.
Price beats Sabathia.
Yeah, likewise, Chris Sale of the White Sox pushed back a day because of that rain out. He threw 6 shutout innings against the Twins.
Mayberry's had a big game tonight. 3 hits, 3 runs batted in. Price is 5-1 in 8 career head-to-head matchups with Sabathia now. This one gets by, and Howard will take off for second. (12-4) Phillies. The Phillies have been outscored by their opponents on the season by 8 runs coming into this one, so they're back to even as of right now. So the Bill James Pythagorean theorem holding up very well, as the Phillies are a 500 club and they have scored exactly the same number of runs as their opponents. Mayberry looks at ball 1. Ball 2 rather. Cardinals 4, Dodgers 1, top of the 3rd. Holiday hit his 27th. Molina number 19. Carpenter number 6. Matt Carpenter. We talked about Chris Carpenter coming back, perhaps against the Astros. 2 balls and no strikes. The hitters will not be turning cartwheels over that. It's 3-0 actually to Mayberry. And a strike makes it 3-1 for Reiner Cruz. Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 8-5. They had lost 13 of 15. They are now 22-37 since the All-Star break. That's the worst for them since 1933. Since the All-Star break. Popped up. Wallace coming in behind the mound. And in the 8th inning, it's a 3-run frame for Philadelphia on 4 hits with a man left. 12-4 Phillies. In the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Justin Maxwell made it also. Chicken sandwich time. Banging that one off the Chick-fil-A foul pole in left field for a 5th inning homer off Cole Hamels. His 15th home run of the year. He takes over the club lead. J-Max has a couple of runs batted in tonight. He'll take an 8-game hitting streak into his next game. Chicken sandwiches to all those who turn in their ticket stubs from tonight at a Chick-fil-A tomorrow. Nate Scherholz is the right fielder, and the new pitcher is Justin DeFreitas. Cole Hamels going 7 innings, allowing 7 hits, 4 runs, walking 1, fanning 8.
Well, Charlie Manuel getting his wish, 7 solid innings from Cole Hamels, and then his lineup continuing to pour it on here to create a big margin for the final couple of innings, so he can utilize this bullpen any which way he wants. If somebody needs a hitter or two, he can get it for him. If somebody needs to just be shut down, he can do that. And he's got plenty of guys out there that are pretty fatigued right now.
Brett Wallace leads it off. Taking ball 1 from DeFreitas. Dominic Brown has moved Juan Pierre out of the game. DeFreitas is 24. He's from Ventura, California. Phillies drafted him in the 11th round in 07. Wallace hits one out to left field. Brown back. 1 out. Justin Maxwell will follow. DeFreitas got in 5 major league games last year for the Phillies. And now he's been in the mix for late inning work with leads to protect. Usually not 12-4 leads. He's been in some closer games and done well for the Phils. J-Max had an RBI on a ground out into a force play in the 1st inning. Phillies bullpen had registered 20 consecutive shutout innings at one point in the game last night until the Astros got 3 in the 8th. And DeFreitas has been among those who have come in to nail things down in the late frames. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count. He came up from Lehigh Valley on September 3rd. Opened on the disabled list this season with right elbow sprain. Didn't come off until mid-July from that injury. Fastball at 92 misses. It's 2 balls and a strike. Last night, the bullpen was cruising along, had 4 shutout innings in relief of Tyler Cloyd until Philippe Almont gave up 2 in 2/3 of an inning. And he took the loss in that game as the Astros roared from behind to win it 6-4 after trailing 4-0. It's 2-2. And if you're in the Phillies situation, 4 games out in the wild card race, you cannot afford a whole lot of losses like that one last night.
No, well, that one really stung.
Chopped high to Freitas. Oh, he throws the ball away, throws it into the stands. He zipped it right by Ryan Howard into the seats, and Maxwell winds up at second. Greg Lucas was right down there.
Just past me. Past me to my right. That way.
Take evasive action if need be. Don't be a hero.
I had some action earlier. Yeah. Audio man Jason Martin wanted to make sure his mic is okay, and you'll see it's way over to the left.
Jason wasn't asking about Greg. He was just worried about his gear. This is knee 1 here on DeFreitas. He had plenty of time. Well, enough time anyway. Didn't quite get the handle on it.
Error to Freitas, runner at second. Jed Lowry the batter. Lowry's 0 for 3. That's ball 1 to Jed. Matt Dominguez is on deck with the Astros batting here in the 8th inning. It's 2 balls, no strikes.
Here's one of our favorites from the annals of this date in baseball history.
Okay.
1872. Athletics are in Boston. No, it's in Philly. The Athletics and Boston in Philly. Athletics leading 4-1 in the 7th. Runners on first and second. We'll wait for this RBI single.
Ooh. It's not going to be an RBI, but it's a single. On a half swing by Lowry. He gets it between third and short into left field. First and third, 1 out. 1872 Philadelphia A's.
Yeah, Philadelphia A's and Boston. Fergie Malone with runners on first and second popped up to shortstop George Wright. Wright catches the ball in his hat. Throws the ball to third base, after which it is thrown to second base. Wright claims a double play has been completed as the batter cannot be retired with a, quote, hat catch. And thus runners Cap Anson and Bob Reach should be forced out. The umpire begs to differ and just gives Malone another at bat, declaring nobody out. Just a do-over.
A do-over.
Straight do-over. Right off the playground.
Matt Dominguez has 2 hits. There's ball 1. Interesting that he caught it in his hat, and Cap Anson was on the other team.
Yeah. Well, and obviously George Wright was like the Brad Ausmus of his time. He probably talked about this for days in advance. If I get a first and second in a pop-up, I'm going to catch it in my hat, and we're going to get 2 outs instead of 1.
Line shot left field, a little hook and foul.
A bid for his 3rd hit, just a little bit foul. Mingus single his first 2 at bats. This time he really hits the ball with authority, but it's got a little hooking action on it.
Not foul by much. Reiner Cruz is on deck. An 0-2 count now on Dominguez. In the dirt, it gets by Ruiz. Maxwell comes home to score and make it 12-5. Lowry to second base.
Here come the Stros.
Right through the legs. Maxwell scoring on a wild pitch.
Hard to beat Chooch to the 5 hole. Usually have to go up over his shoulder into the upper corner of the net. Time he was vulnerable.
It's 1-2 to Dominguez. That one almost hit him, but he was swinging the bat and he fouled it. Might have hit him if he hadn't made contact with the bat. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's had some wrist issues recently. Pitch like that might aggravate it.
Clearly something's barking at him right now.
Yep. Looked like Dave Clark, the third base coach, was asking him if he's all right to continue, and he nodded yes. Punch the other way, foul. Still a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Phillies bullpen had a 4.72 ERA prior to the All-Star break. Since August 16th, the bullpen ERA has been 2.30. That has a lot to do with their recent surge. A roller back to the pitcher. Freitas tossing to Ryan Howard. 2 outs. And Reiner Cruz just going to bat here.
Yeah, why not? Have a little fun, get a knock. In 1878, the Cincinnati Red Stockings and the Indianapolis Blues played an exhibition game in which they experimented with calling every pitch a ball or a strike and allowing only 6 balls for a walk. The rules up to this time provide for the umpire to call a warning pitch on the first wide delivery. You couldn't even miss with 1 when the umpire was warning you. Your job is just to put the ball in play. Pitchers had very low self-esteem back then, huh?
Must have. Cruz backs away. They strike 1 to Reiner rather than use another pitcher in the 9th inning. The Astros going to send him back out there. Reiner has not been to the plate.
Don't get cheated, Reiner. You don't know when you're going to get your next chance. At it, baby.
0 balls, 2 strikes to Reiner. Clayton Kershaw's Sunday start is in doubt because of hip pain.
Yeah, they pushed him back the last go around, I believe.
You are correct. His hip is inflamed. May not be able to go against St. Louis. Struck him out looking. In the 8th inning, 1 unearned run scores on 1 hit with 1 error. And a man left, and it's 12-5 Phillies. Inning against Reiner Cruz on this flashback Friday. Fireworks coming up after the game. Phillies have not lost consecutive games over the last 2 weeks since August 30th. They're trying to hop back into the win column, get their 73rd victory of the year. and make themselves relevant in the wild card race. The Astros won last night. Game 3 of the series coming tomorrow night. Some of the folks using their blankets to give away item tonight. That was great to have Jeff Kent on with us in the second inning. That's been one thing we've really enjoyed throughout Fridays during this season.
Yeah, well, if you were going to take a list of all the people we were going to have up there this year and handicap it, put some odds on who was going to be the best interview, no way you would have put J.K. at the top of that list. And he was lights out.
He was. He nailed it. Yeah. Effervescent Jeff Kent tonight.
Yeah, you know, and I'll tell you what, I'm intrigued to see his performance on Survivor now. I haven't seen that show in a decade.
Exactly. It's revived our interest in that program. Kevin Franson leads it off. He is 2 for 4 with an RBI single in the 4th inning. Jeremy Horst warming up for the Phillies. There's strike 1. What night of the week is that show on the air? Do we know?
I do not know.
Where were they? Philippines?
Philippines.
Good grief. It's on Sunday, we're told. Jeff Probst just started his own afternoon talk show. A busy guy. No balls, 2 strikes. Good looking blankets. Those folks will snuggle up by the fire, wrapped in those blankets when they get home tonight. Foul back. Still no balls, 2 strikes.
Those nights where everybody in the Phillies lineup has contributed in one way or another, either had a hit, reached on a walk, scored a run, or drove in a run. 12 runs on 15 hits. A lot of game balls to go around in that Philly clubhouse after this one.
And of course, in the Astros clubhouse, it's headphones when they win. When a player does well, he gets headphones.
Does he ever hand out headphones in a losing cause, or is it only for wins?
We'll have to ask him Sunday. Not sure. I'm thinking only in wins. Struck him out. Strikeout number 2 for Reiner Cruz. Del Rosario worked 1/3 of an inning, giving up 4 hits, 3 runs, but no walks, no strikeouts. Cruz has done well. Now it's Nate Shearholz. Shearholz got into the game last night late. Shearholz was 0 for 1 last night. Hasn't done much hitting since he was traded from the Giants to the Phillies. As a Philly, he's hit 200 in 45 at bats. 1 homer, 4 runs batted in. Good defensive player. There's ball 1 to him. I'd say these two teams have some similarities in the fact that they will be searching for better outfield production next year. Phillies moving Shane Victorino and Hunter Pence, and with the guys who have replaced them not exactly lighting them up, they will have to see what they can do about making that improvement with the limited payroll room they have for next year. Talking about the possibility of a player like Michael Bourne, who was a Philly, returning as a free agent, but he's probably going to make a lot of money now, and they may not be able to fit him into their payroll for next year. And it's 2-1 to Nate Shearholz.
Yeah, Michael struggled a little bit here in the second half. His numbers off compared to what he did before the All-Star break. But still, yeah, he's going to Did quite well as a free agent this offseason.
$15 hits for the Phillies tonight. Rocks one to left center field. Extra bases off the base of the bullpen fence. He's in with a one-hop double. Double number 6 of the year for Sherholz. Phillies get ready to pinch hit next as Jimmy Rollins comes up. Rollins has 2 hits, 1 a homer, and he has scored 2 runs.
Michael Bourne hitting just .224 in the second half. With a .318 on base percentage.
Ooh. Doesn't speak well for a leadoff guy. Rollins takes a look at that one, and the count goes to 1-1 on Jimmy.
Wild one in San Diego.
What's going on?
6-4 after 3. There were 9 runs scored in the first inning in San Diego at Petco Park. That game is not being played at Coors Field. It just looks like it is. Colorado with a 5 spot in the top of the first, and the Padres answered with 4 in the bottom.
2 balls and a strike.
Dodgers have answered with a couple. They trail the Cardinals 4-3 now after 3.
Darren Ruff is on deck. Pinch hit for the pitcher next. Been a big slugger in the minor leagues this year. Three balls and a strike to Jimmy Rollins. Ruff hit 38 home runs at Double-A Reading. Drove in 104. Had a .620 slugging percentage. He was MVP of the Eastern League. Fouled into the seats by Rollins. It's a 3-ball, 2-strike count for Jimmy. Ruff hit 20 home runs in the month of August.
I asked a couple of people, what position does he play? And their only answer was, he can really hit. So I think he's limited defensively.
Strike 3. Rollins moved back from the pitch. 2 outs. Third strikeout for Reiner Cruz. Now it's Darren Ruff.
6 on the Fox tracks. Plenty of the plate.
And Ruff is 26 years old. He's from Omaha, Nebraska. 20th round pick in 09 from Creighton University by the Phils. Last year he played at Clearwater. Big right-handed hitter. Ruff takes a look at it, and it's ball 1. This is his first major league plate appearance.
He had an .845 slugging percentage against left-handed pitching this year, hitting .392.
Popped up. Dominguez back. Lowry behind him. In the ninth inning, it's no runs a hit and a man stranded. Bottom of the ninth ahead, 12-5 Phillies.
Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston, brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Astros coming up in the bottom of the ninth, needing a big rally to take a 2-game-to-none lead in this 4-game set. But if not, they'll be tomorrow. Astros are down. Here's Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Soon they'll be under the stars, under the blankets, watching fireworks, Greg.
Yep. And it's only about 72 or 3 outside right now, so that'll be nice walking to the car.
Yes, it will be. Bottom of the ninth is coming. They hope not too soon. They'd like to see a big, furious Astros rally against Jeremy Horst. Left-hander who comes in to be pitcher number 3 tonight.
Bundle up, folks. It's getting chilly out there. Fall is in the air.
Chris Snyder leads it off. Horst is 1-0. His ERA is 1.19 for 23 games. In 22 2/3 innings, he's walked 11, fan 25.
Fastball slider change.
Jeremy Horst is from the wild, wild west, Cheyenne, Wyoming. He went to Iowa Western Community College.
Whoa. That's maybe the first that I've ever heard of.
Yeah. You know them all, JD. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Iowa Western Community College.
Yep. Don't know where it is. Ground ball foul. We'll have to ask Brett Dolan.
We'll find out.
Brett is the Iowa expert.
They're called the I don't know. I guess I'm going to, in front of all of our viewers, come clean as to my ignorance, because they're called the Reivers. R-E-I-V-E-R. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay. It's not just me.
No, it's not just you. There are at least 2 of us.
We got to find out for our viewers before this game ends. What the heck is a Reiver?
What's a Reiver? Jeremy Horst.
They're named after.
2 balls, 2 strikes. That may be the most intriguing subject.
Ooh, it's a dog.
A dog?
It looks like there's such a thing as a border reaver. No, they were not. Let me check that. They were raiders along the Anglo-Scottish border in the late 13th century to the beginning of the 17th century. This is according to Wikipedia.
Reivers. Give them credit for the most unusual nickname we've heard.
Raided the entire border country without regard to their victims' nationality.
So this would not be such an attractive team nickname for a lot of schools. Hey, let's go raid and pillage and plunder. What do you think,
That's
Rick?
it. I did. Iowa Western, their own site, because they know people are asking. They have a question. What is a Reiver? bottom line is it's a river pirate. And then it goes into the whole thing. It comes to the Middle Ages. So there must be a river near Iowa Western, I would think.
All right.
Or a bunch of Scottish people with a bad attitude.
Horst gets a strikeout of Snyder. One down. Jimmy Paredes comes up next. He struck out in the 7th. Horst came up in the Cincinnati organization. They drafted him in the 21st round in 07, traded him to the Phillies this January. Jeremy was in 12 games for the Reds last year. Strike one to Jimmy Paredes with Jose Altuve on deck. 12-5 Phillies. They've doubled the Astros hit total of 8. Both errors belong to the Phils tonight. Foul back, and it's 0-2. And Cole Hamels stands to be a 15-game winner by the end of the evening. Phillies are trying to square this series at 1 game each. Game 3 coming tomorrow night, and the finale Sunday afternoon at 1:05. Astros are off on Monday. They travel to St. Louis for a brief 3-game road trip and then right back here next weekend. 1-2. Big Legends Luncheon is a week from tomorrow, 11 o'clock at Union Station.
Remember Scott Pose?
Scott Pose, yeah.
He was a reaver.
He was a reaver. Wow. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wasn't he a member of the original Marlin Club?
That sounds right.
He might have been the first guy ever to bat for the Marlins.
There's some Scott Pose Marlin trivia. Yeah, there is.
Okay. Struck him out.
You nailed that, Brownie. You're all over it.
2 down, and it's Altuve next. He's 2 for 4.
He played Matt Crane in the 1999 film For Love of the Game, starring Kevin Costner.
Well, that was a good film. You know, that Trouble with the Curve movie should be pretty good too.
I'm hearing wonderful things. It's a must see.
Oh, previews are just all over the place. Dynamite cast. There's ball 1. Jose Altuve. Brandon Barnes on deck. The Angels are leading 8-7 after 8 at Kansas City. Foul back, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Giants still lead 5-0 after 5 in Arizona. Hunter Pence hit his 21st home run for San Francisco. Oakland 3, Baltimore 2. Bottom of the 5th in Oakland. Looping line drive, fair ball. It bounces into the seats and went out and hooked a double. 3rd hit of the night for Altuve. That's his 32nd double.
Let's put that under the category of don't give away at bats. Huh? Blowout game, 2 outs in the ninth, still hanging in there, putting a good swing on one.
He's on a surge again. He started the night at 290. Making another run at 300. There's a strike to Barnes. Brandon 0 for 4. Altuve with 32 doubles. Easily the club leader in that department. He's the club leader in many departments. 3 hits tonight, giving 154 hits this year. No balls, 2 strikes. Altuve has reached somewhat select company too with the 30 stolen bases this year among second basemen in club history. There have been 4 Astros second basemen who have stolen 30 bases in a season. Joe Morgan did it 3 times, Billy Doran twice, Greg Biggio 5 times. And Altuve is only the 8th Astros player to steal 30 bases and hit 30 doubles in a season. Jeff Bagwell twice, Craig Biggio 5 times, Enos Cabell 3 times, Cesar Cedeno 5 times, Jose Cruz 3. Dickie Thon and Jimmy Wynn also did it. 1-2. Red Wallace is on deck. The Astros have 9 hits to the Phillies 16. Astros have gone 33-22 against the Phillies since the 04 season. That's the best in the National League against Philadelphia. 2 Hopper to third. Branson with a high throw, and he throws that away, and a run will score. Altuve comes home. It's 12-6. Only error by Branson.
Not to make excuses for Franzen or anybody else, but I think the sluggish pace with which this game has been played makes it tough for the fielders sometimes. He had it in pretty good shape. Man, didn't quite get the handle as he tried to make the transfer from the glove to his throwing hand. See, a little reached in, came up empty, had to go back in and hurry it.
Big Ryan Howard has watched some errant throws sail by him now. Red Wallace looks at ball 1. Wallace 1 for 4. Cardinals 4, Dodgers 3. They've played 4 in LA. Yadier Molina hit his 19th. Rolled foul first base side. It's 1-1. David Price continues to press his Cy Young credentials with that Tampa Bay win over the Yankees tonight. 6-4. He is 18-5 with a 2.54 ERA. 1-2, and Fernando Rodney got his 43rd save. In Detroit's 4-0 shutout win at Cleveland, Justin Verlander went to 14-8. Wallace strikes out to end it, and the Phillies have squared this series. Horst getting the final 3 outs on Cole Hamels' 15th win of the season. Final score tonight: Charlie Manuel's Philly club goes to 73-72 by winning it 12-6.